Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, stand up. It's time for Inside the Nation with your man, Adonaiah. The show where we ask the hard questions and get the true answers. All praises to the Most High in the name of His Son, YAHAWASHI. So sit back, turn up the volume, and join us as we get it in, saints.
Shalom, shalom. All right. Shalom. Okay. Welcome to Inside the Nation, everybody. First broadcast, man. And it's gonna be a good one. We got a good topic we finna cover tonight. Life after death. What can we expect? Man, and the brothers that we got coming on here, man, I'm just looking to learn. You know, these some brothers I felt when they speak, man, they come straight from scripture. So I personally chose to reach out to these brothers. One brother being my brother Yaw'al out of the Israelite Sons of Thunder Israelite group. Brother is like, man, he's in them scriptures. And my other act that's coming on, I mean, many of you guys know Deacon Hakah Sicarii. But we're going to get this covered, man. I'm excited to get it started, you know. So with that being said, if you guys can hear me clearly out there, give me a thumbs up. I want to know and make sure my audio's coming through clearly. Earlier had some little technical difficulties. Just want to make sure everything's coming through. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Shalom. All praises. All right. Ashaya, how you doing, sis? Riley, long time. My former co-workers, my brother. How you doing? Anybody else, if you can hear me, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Hit the like button, the thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me clearly. Still waiting for a few people to come on. I got a few phone calls saying, man, when you going to start the show? You know, I'm a few minutes late. I understand. I'm a few minutes late. All right. Great sound. All right. So cool. Blessings, sister, blessings. All right. So like I said, this is what we're doing. Life after death. What can we expect? And we all know, you know, us that are awakened to the fact of who we are, awakened to the fact that we are not Israel. Well, we've been Israel. I don't want to say we're now Israel. We've been Israel. We're now awakened to the fact that we are Israel. So we've come to the understanding that a lot of things that we've been told just haven't been true. A lot of things just have not been true. Man, we could start the laundry list, but those of us who already know, so we want to get on this topic, and the first topic is probably for the first show. This probably is a bit of a deeper topic for the first show, but seeing as though I've recently been having a conversation about this with a number of different people, seeing as though I was able to reach out to these brothers that's coming on. And I was very confident that these brothers can actually go inside of the scripture and actually show us what the Most High actually told us, what really happens, that which He allowed us to know. So we're definitely going to get started. We're going to learn some truth tonight. And from that point, man, we're going to bring the brothers on, man. But what I also want to do, I had a few brothers, like I said, one of them being my well, if y'all don't know what Ak mean, that's my brother, Deacon Hakah, you know, being one. Another brother, I can't really pronounce his name, but he makes some music, man, and he's pretty nice music, man. He be having me bobbing and rotting in the car with it. So these brothers, I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna tell y'all where y'all can find that at, man. We got to support these Israelite brothers in the truth, making good music, giving us a message at the same time, giving us something to vibe to, you know. If you listen to the radio, I don't know about y'all. I don't even listen to the radio no more. I don't even know what I be listening to half the time. So, but anyway, that's what we're finna do. I'm finna play something real quick for y'all, and we ain't gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna get the brother on real quick after a couple songs, and then we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start answering these questions. All right. So let's without further ado.
Judah, LOG, yeah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm a Shemite, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Just say the same. That's right.
It always be nagging, so you know we got pride.
Religion melts your brain, son. Did you ain't learn the thing? You angry, you act like a zombie. You following what like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire you gon' burn up you zombies. Religion melts your brain, son. Did you ain't learn the thing? You angry, you act like a zombie. You following what like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire you gon' burn up you zombies. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comedy. They slipping like Martin O'Tonney. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comedy. They slipping like Martin O'Tonney. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin.
Man, if y'all feeling this brother music, man, y'all go to my website, InsideTheNationRadio.com, and you can see he's on there. His banner's on there. If you click on this banner, it'll take you to his SoundCloud, free download. The brother got talent. You know what I mean? So go ahead and check it out.
Granny be speaking in tongues, ain't no way.
It is.
Praying and moving and shaking like Pastor come first and he sit around the tray. Tithing they money so good in no way. Robbing my people, he think it's okay. Judgment is coming to you any day. I just don't see how come one can debate. Jesus so white man, little buddy, no way. All of the prophets are black all the way. All of the angels are black all the way. Adam and Eve, they will make fun of dust. Different shades of black and brown, that's us. I get my Israelite from China too. And no, we don't worship no stupid no good. And just like a lion, we jump for the prey. Shit like that logo on the Aki Puma. Study the law and you learn the maneuver. Got out of Israel and Cuba by beauty. On the Sabbath, before we eat tuna. And I pray I wake up my solution. Ain't no time for no wicked intruders. Moses will handle the law, not a religion. America slavery business. Lost in the system, headed for prison. Zombie, you wobbling, you ain't no rhythm. America slavery business. Lost in the system, and headed for prison. Zombie, you wobbling, you ain't no rhythm. Zombie, you wobbling, you ain't no rhythm. Religion melts your brain, son. You ain't learn the thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You following what like a zombie. With the scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire gon' burn up you zombies. Religion melts your brain, son. You ain't learn the thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You following what like a zombie. With the scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire gon' burn you zombies. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comedy. They stepping like Martin O'Tonney. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin. Judah don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comedy. They stepping like Martin O'Tonney. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin. Religion melts your brain, son. You ain't learn the thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You following what like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire you gon' burn up you zombies. Judah don't mess with no zombies. So we here. Fire.
All right, yeah. Hey, look, man, y'all hear it, man. That brother got fire, man. That brother got fire. Shalom Mox. That brother that got fire, man. All right, my next one coming up. This my brother Deacon Hakah. This off his new album called Swap, and this is fire too, man. Hey, go to my website. It's on there. Swap. You're gonna see the banner. It'll take you straight to his website. Get the album, man. Support these artists in the truth.
In my hood, you hear sirens and semis pop. Judah keep vexing Ephraim. When will the envy stop? No love for any cops. That's what got Kenny shot. Y'all drinking Henny shots. I'm investing in penny stocks. They give me props. Rapping, teaching, debating, unity, while Satan trying to weaken the nation. Cops in my community, kill us with every opportunity. No justice or peace, the police get immunity. Look, rubber bullets and riot tools when they gear up. Asking where the love went, cause judgment is near us. And kids rather pour up a foe and sip the syrup than learn about how the black Moors ruled in Europe. We divided by economic material schism. My people are serial victims of imperialism. I tell the truth in the booth, boy, my pen no lie. They love the Hebrew Israelites. Ask the NOI. Let's pray. I pray. Abba, Yahawah, rise. I pray for your grace and everything that you shall provide. I pray every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and pump will come out of hide. I pray every day, no excuses or alibis. I pray that every last one of these cowards die. I pray all of this in the name of YAHAWASHI. Can't feed the flesh, don't need the stress, so I fast and I rest instead. Cold sweats in the bath, trying to grab.
This off his album. What? On my website, InsideTheNationRadio.com. Y'all go check it out.
By the Lord, can't even stop by the store, cause on my block it's a war. Jehovah Witnesses don't even knock at my door, cause they know they false doctrine will get chopped by my sword. Yeah, I'm with the lyrical or the spiritual murder play. I see some ravenous wolves leading the herd astray. My homie's mom's a tweaker, I watch him survey. I'm numb to this game and the pain, I'm an invertebrate. When the Messiah comes serve, we gon' witness the sun purge. He coming back to judge every idle and dumb word. My team always moving in silence, we unheard. The elite want to converge on the elect and the 1/3. I pray, Abba get how it rise. I pray for your grace and everything that you shall provide. I pray every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and punk will come out and hide. I pray every day, no excuses or alibis. I pray that every last one of these cowards die. I pray all of this in the name of YAHAWASHI.
I pray you sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high place of God fill the mouths of the saints, and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishment on those people. Divide their kings for change.
If only I could spread my wings and fly away, I'd escape this place right away and be gone, vanished without a trace. That's why I stay. It ain't safe for kids to go out and play. No matter if it's night or day, you can be hit by a stray. So every morning when I awake, I pray for a brighter day. Don't know how much more darkness my eyes can take. Criminals populate the city, crime is at its highest rate. Growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of hate. Through the tribulations, I acknowledge that Yahweh's great. Can't wait till he sent his son to deliver us about this place. Babylon the Great, better known as the United States, the place that was built off of oppression and a tyrant race.
Hey, listen, man, y'all like and share the broadcast. If y'all interested in seeing somebody else out that's interested also. So please like it, give me some thumbs up, and share the broadcast.
Our paradise awaits.
So look, man, that was Deacon Hakah out of Sicarii.
Check, mic check, damn. 613 to D. Look, his name is Yahawah, but I'll improvise and say black.
If you want to share the broadcast, just go to my Facebook Live. Go to facebook.com/Inside the Nation Radio and hit the share button. Facebook.com/Inside the Nation Radio.
If you knew that the Lord was a black man with woolly hair, they say black is beautiful. Then why I see that white Jesus in the churches when we pack the funerals? Why this dude looks softer than gelatin?
I want to give a shout out to my nephew, Mr. Cortavius Win B. My nephew, always supportive in everything I do. All the testing, all the setting up, everything. My man was there. And of course my wife, so number one. But with my wife and with my nephew, always a good support system.
And we killing this myth today. Lies got my people in disarray. Fake looks like the Didascalia and Didache. You gotta believe on them just as the scriptures say. So take down that image of your enemy and stop perpetuating white supremacy.
All right. Without further ado, we finna get ready to bring the brother on. This brother right here, like I said, I'm gonna say this real quick. You got some brothers out there, man, in this truth. And when they start to get, when people start to know them, and I met some brothers, people start to know them, man, they start to take off and, just, become celebrity, the celebrity mindset and everything. But I can say about this brother, man, when I reached out to him, man, he reached back and he was like, man, if it's about spreading the Most High's word, I'm down. This brother was very humble. I'm sure everybody, have seen him. Those of you who have not seen him, seen his teaching, he's very, very biblical based, comes straight from the scriptures. So with our topic, life after death, what can we expect? I'm going to bring this brother on, his brother Yaw'al. My Hebrew ain't the best. I hope I said that right. His brother Yaw'al out of the Sons of Thunder Israelite camp. And he going to break some things down to us. And man, we finna bring him on right now. Shalom, Ma.
Shalom, shalom.
How you doing?
Good, Tawab. How you, brother?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. You know, like I say, we finna jump right into this topic, man. And my brother got a presentation that he's finna just really, you know what I'm saying, edify the people real quick. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and take over. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all focus on him, and then we're gonna listen. And if you got questions at the end, if you got any questions about the topic, we're gonna keep them on topic. If you got any questions, call in. Don't be afraid to call in and let us know, ask questions. And like I say, the brother is very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. I've learned from him, I've watched him, he's very knowledgeable. So without further ado, I'm finna give the floor to him, and all praise be to the Most High. Let him bring it forth.
Shalom, Israel. I appreciate having the opportunity to be on this show. This is a great thing you're doing for the nation. One thing that we have to do as Israelites is be industrious on how to get this word out, and making a radio show and sharing brothers' music and talking about biblical topics. That's ingenious, brother, and that's very good. Okay, we respect that. All right, that's why we appreciate being on your show. Before I get started, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Brother Yaw'al, or Ya'Wah BanLawya. I represent the Sons of Thunder Israelite camp. It is our heart's desire and prayer for Israel that they might be saved. All right. We teach at Woodruff Park in Atlanta. Every Saturday at 2:30, we have a conference call class. Every Friday at 8:30 at night, p.m., and where we answer all types of questions and we get more into the doctrine of our camp. If you are interested in following us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, it's all the same. It's very long, but it's all the same. Sons of Thunder Israelites. Okay. And that's that for the promotion. Let's get down to business, because the Bible is the only thing that needs to be promoted mainly. So the brother asked us a question. He said, let's talk about what happens to the spirit when you die. What happens to a man when he dies? Where does his soul go? Okay. And we know that there's all types of dogma from all these different religions. You got the Buddhist religion, the Catholic religion, the Baptist religion. Okay. You even got the Kabbalah with the false Jewish imposters push. And they all give you a different story of what happens to a man's soul when he dies. But guess what? The Bible has the doctrine, and the Bible tells you what happens. All right? I'll be the first to tell you I don't know everything, but I do know something. So I'm going to bring forth the precepts that I do know and share them with the body of Israel for your edification. And with that, let's begin. All right, let's get the first precept. I want you to go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 28, and start at verse 6. Okay? Israel, don't be a proactive listener. Don't just be entertained by the Bible. Learn it. So these precepts, y'all write them down, and y'all go over them later. And if I said something wrong, you email me, sonsofthunderisraelites@gmail.com, and you correct me. All right? Because this is all about learning, man. All right? When Yahawashi comes, he's going to make all things clear. So right now, what we need to do is be focused and being studious, taking on that role as the top scholars in the earth, because that's what we are ordained to be. We are a nation of kings and priests, man. And the priest is supposed to keep knowledge on his lips. All right. So with that said, read that out.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 28, verse 6. And when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets.
So what happened was Saul became wicked. He let a spirit of jealousy jump on him, and the Most High took his spirit away from him. We like to use the slang term, the Most High put out your candlestick. Whenever you hear Israelites say that, the Most High put out your candlestick, that's when he took his spirit away from you. You'll know that that's happening to you when your thoughts become wicked. You'll know that that's happening to you, you brothers that teach, when them precepts don't be flowing. When you out there, you confounded like that. I know the answer to that question, but it ain't coming to me. You got to look at yourself. You got to think about what you've been doing, man. The Most High might be taking his anointing off of you. So you got to stay in the spirit. So what happened in those days is we didn't act on our own accord. What we would do is we would go to the prophets or go to the seers. Give me 1 Samuel 9:9 real quick. 9:9, just to prove that.
This is 1 Samuel, chapter 9, verse 9.
Because precept must be upon precept. And if it ain't backed up with the scriptures, we're not walking with that. Go ahead, bro.
Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer.
See, the Bible said before you was called a prophet, they used to be called a seer, because prophet means to speak before. And a seer is obviously somebody that has the vision, man. So they go one in together. So go back to that at 1 Samuel 28, read verse 7.
Verse 7. Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that hath familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said unto him, behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit at Endor.
So this is where you got the story of the witch of Endor. Okay? You even have people that make plays about this off the Bible to call it the witches of Eastwick and all that. This is really based off this, the witch of Endor. And Saul's going off. Saul is not supposed to go to no woman with a familiar spirit. If you know the law, it says that all people with familiar spirits are supposed to be put to death. The Bible says you shall not suffer a witch to live. So Saul is going deep into his wickedness due to desperation, because the Most High took that wisdom away from him, man. Took his anointing away from him. And so instead of humbling down and going back to the Most High and asking for forgiveness and mercy, Saul, who's a mighty king at the time, he says, I'm going to find another way. But what Yahawashi say? Any man who climbs up another way and not through me is a thief, man. So Saul is going off. Learn from that example. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And Saul disguised himself and put on another raiment. And he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night. And he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee.
So he said, bring him up, who I shall name unto thee. Now Saul, he know the truth, man. And he went there with a perfect intention to what? Bring up somebody's spirit. He didn't go there to possibly do it. He said, get me somebody with a familiar spirit. Go find that kind of person. And he went there. He even put on a costume. So he knows what he's doing. In other words, if you be spiritual, he knows this is going to work, because he knows that you can do such a thing. Read on.
Verse 9. And the woman said unto him, behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done. Now he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life, to cause me to die?
See, the woman is telling you that Saul used to be righteous, because Saul put out a decree that all people with familiar spirits, all the warlocks and wizards, are to be put to death. Saul was a mighty warrior for the Most High at one point. At one time he was. So all y'all got to learn. Even though we're talking about what happens when you die, the Bible is teaching you all types of lessons in every verse. Learn from Saul's examples. Do not let your pride destroy you. Always examine yourself to see if you're in the truth. Read on now.
Verse 10. And Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, as the Lord liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing. Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel.
Now he asked for Samuel, the mighty righteous prophet Samuel. And he lied to that woman, saying no punishment is going to come to her. Of course, the Most High is going to destroy her. So Saul is just so focused on what? He's so worried about David, man. Okay? That's why he's doing this. And he totally gave up his anointing as the king of Israel and behaving this way. And he asked that woman to bring him who? But Samuel. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And when the woman saw Samuel,
and she did what?
When the woman saw Samuel.
So wait a minute. Read that again.
And when the woman saw Samuel,
go ahead,
she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spake to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul,
what she said?
I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel.
So what the woman is telling you, that she saw gods descending out of the earth. Christianity can't make sense of that. They don't understand that. But when you go into the Bible, Psalms 86 told you that ye are gods. Samuel was the righteous Israelite, yes? Is it 82 and 6 or 86 and 2?
82 and 6.
82 and 6. Salakia, see? That's why you need your brothers, man. So the Bible says that ye are gods, but you're going to die like the princes of the earth. As Israel, that means we are princes of the power with God. So she saw Samuel. I'm going to hit you with something right there. She said, I saw gods descending out of the earth, ascending out of the earth, man. Where was their spirit going? That means it was like a conveyor belt she's seen of spirits rising up to go somewhere. Where does she see that spirit going? But first thing you need to understand is this. Other religions don't even teach that that was actually Samuel. See, before we get into this, we got to crush some strongholds. The Jehovah Witnesses teach, if you go into their Bible right there, you're going to see air quotes around the word Samuel. In other words, they don't believe that she actually called up Samuel because they don't believe that the spirit is still persisting after death. They believe once you die, you just void for a while. Then the Most High come back and get you later. I'm familiar with their doctrine. I know what they teach. So even in their Bible, right there, they add on to the scripture and put quotes as if that was not really Samuel. That's why you got to study to show yourself approved. Read that in the Apocrypha. Call it and read that.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 46 and verse 13.
Check this out.
Let their bones flourish out of their place.
13.
Salaki. Samuel, the prophet of the Lord, beloved of his Lord, established a kingdom and anointed princes over his people.
That's right, because he anointed princes over his people. He was a mighty prophet. We talking about the prophet Samuel. Jump down to that verse. You know what I want.
Verse 20.
Come on.
And after his death, he prophesied.
What it say?
He prophesied.
It said he did what?
He prophesied.
The Bible said after his death, he prophesied. So the Bible itself is telling you that that was really Samuel. Don't let these other religions that don't even deal with the Apocrypha. See, that's why you need the Apocrypha. If you're only dealing with 66 books, you're a Protestant. Automatically. You ain't no Jehovah Witness. You're a Protestant. You're not a Baptist. You're a Protestant. Because you're not dealing with the whole roll. You're not eating the entire roll. Okay? You letting Martin Luther and them tell you what to study. The Apocrypha backs up Samuel 28, telling you that that was really Samuel, and he prophesied after his death. So when a man dies, your spirit still persists based on that one example. For brothers like us, that's enough. We would start talking about something else. But we know Israel, it don't go like that. With Israel, you got to show them some more. Give me Ecclesiastes 3 and 20.
You want the rest of it?
Read that while he's looking on.
And shewed the king his end, and lifted up his voice from the earth in prophecy to blot out the wickedness of the people.
See that? So Samuel was so righteous, even after he died, he came back and prophesied. 3 and 20. Now, when you go back, I left that account, 1 Samuel 28:6. I stopped where I stopped, so you could go read that on your own. Because Samuel has his own commentary. He even goes on to say, why have you disquieted me? In other words, why did you interrupt my rest? But I'm going to let y'all read that on your own because y'all got to study too. Read that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 20.
Bring it out.
All go unto one place.
All go where?
Unto one place.
No. There's certain spirits that go to an all-white party with linen in heaven. And then there's other spirits that go to an all-red party with a disco ball in an oven in hell. What the Bible say?
All go unto one place.
The Bible says everybody goes unto one place. There's more in that?
Khan. All are of the dust, and all turn to the dust again.
Now you have people that's going to argue with that. Oh, that was only talking about everybody's going to die and go to the grave. But we cut that already because Samuel was prophesying after his death. Samuel was still persisting after his death. He still had memories. He knew what was going on. But all go unto one place. You know who said that? King Solomon said that. And King Solomon is qualified personnel to say that. Give me Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 verse 18 in the Apocrypha. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 verse 18. King Solomon is the wisest man to ever walk the earth. The only person better and more wise than Solomon or more glorious than Solomon is Yahawashi. 7 and 18. I'm just going to show you that King Solomon was qualified to discuss these things. Read that.
This is the book of Solomon, chapter 7. The wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 18.
Go ahead.
The beginning, ending, and midst of the times, alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons.
These are things that the Most High showed Solomon. The beginning, midst, and end of times. How the seasons work. Solomon knew all that. Go ahead. 19.
The circuits of years and the positions of stars.
He was familiar with all that. Go ahead.
The natures of living creatures.
And he was familiar with the nature of living creatures. Human beings are living creatures. And Solomon just told you, all go unto the same place. Give me Ecclesiastes 9 and 2.
It's Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 2.
Well, you want to read all that. You want to keep going. Nah, go ahead, go ahead.
All things come alike to all.
All things what?
Come alike to all.
All things come alike to all. Go ahead.
There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked.
No. The righteous get a different event and the wicked get a different event. What the Bible say?
There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked.
Go ahead.
To the good and to the clean.
No. To only the good, this certain things happens. Read it.
To the good and to the clean and to the unclean.
Come on.
To him that sacrificeth and to him that sacrificeth not.
Come on.
As is the good, so is the sinner. And he that sweareth as he that feareth an oath.
So what happens to the good is the same thing that happens to the sinner. People are going to argue and lose their mind, but we reading it right out the Bible. We talking about matters of life and death. What happens to your spirit? Solomon is telling you the same event happens to everybody. Y'all all return to the Most High. Your spirit goes back to be with the Most High from the one who sent it. Prove that. Go to 12 and 7.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7.
Come on.
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
See, your spirit goes back to be with the Most High. That's 5 precepts, man. You can't tell me that Satan gets to take your spirit and you go with him. Nobody has dominion over your spirit except the Most High, BAHASHAM Yahawah. He's the sole controller. He's the supreme being. Nobody got dominion over him. That's blasphemy to think that somebody else has power over your soul. The Bible told you, fear not him who could kill the body, but him who could kill the soul in hell, man. And then people are going to lose their mind because they can't break that down. Ain't no hell like you perceive, man. Hell is Sheol, the common grave. But there is going to be a final destruction in the end. And that is the second death. People can't wrap their head around that. When you pass away now, your spirit goes back to be with the Most High. The Most High can see fit to send you back. The Most High can send you back with an infirmity. I ain't going to get it, but there's the account of the child that was born imperfect. He was blind. They said, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Why is that question even being asked unless the people of antiquity already knew that your spirit comes back, man? Because your soul persists and keeps on. All right? That's how Elijah came here. He said, I'm going to send you back to turn the hearts of the sons to the fathers. And that was John the Baptist came back in the spirit of Elisha. You got people that want to argue and say, oh, he came in the spirit of Elijah. They put them air quotes like they put around Samuel in there. He came back in the spirit of Elijah. No. Elijah's spirit, the spirits are subject to the prophets. So Elijah's spirit is his spirit. The only reason he didn't know he was Elijah is because, like Solomon taught you, there is no remembrance of the former things or what will come hereafter. Y'all got to understand that. Y'all got to put the whole Bible together. You got to eat the whole roll. Then it won't bug you out so much. And then you can get comfort from the scriptures instead of confusion. We had a brother at camp today say, yo, I try to read the Bible, man, but I didn't get it. I started trying to read the Quran. We had to tell him, no, brother, the reason you don't understand is because you first of all, you're not trying to keep the commandments, so you can't get the wisdom. And number two, you need someone to teach you, brother. Somebody got to raise you up in this truth. A lot of people speak against camps. What's a better place to learn the Bible than a Bible camp? Think about that, man. What's a better place to learn the Bible than a Bible camp? See, when they think camp, they just see a bunch of blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics all together, right? But what it really is the top scholars in the earth coming back to their nationality, discussing the Holy Scriptures. That's where you need to be at. I'm always going to believe in that because that's where I learned the Bible from. I had to be taught. I had to join a camp and learn how to go out in the highways and byways and call Jacob back. Okay? Let's get a couple more precepts and then let the brother go on with his show because I've been talking for a long time. Give me Luke 23 and 46.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 46.
Hey, brother, quick on the sword, man.
And when Yahawashi had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I command my spirit.
Yeah, because that's where his spirit is going. Even Yahawashi's spirit is going to go be with the Most High. That's why he said that, Father, I commend my spirit into you. Go ahead.
And having said thus, he gave up the ghost.
And those was the last things that he said as he walked on earth before he died in his crucifixion. Of course, he came back and spoke other words, but that's how he went out, man. He said, Father, I commend my spirit into you, man, because the Most High is the Father of spirits. Give me Acts 7 and 59. Brother Stephen said the same thing.
It's the book of Acts.
But he said it different because Yahawashi, now he's acknowledging Yahawashi, who's the door. Watch this.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 59.
Go ahead.
And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God, saying, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit.
That's what he said. Receive my spirit. He said, and if you send your spirit with Yahawashi, he's going to bring it to the Father. Mm-hmm. You understand? So this is a question that has been asked all through times. Where do you go when you die? Even Job, in all of his wisdom, he had this question. Give me that, Job 14 and 10. Even Job asked this question. Where did my spirit go? What happened when a man died? Where did he go? Solomon is telling you all spirits go to the same place. The just and the unjust go to the same place. The same event happens to everyone. Samuel's example is showing you that the Most High said he got us ascending out of the earth, man, ready to go back to him. And we still persisting on after death. Our spirit is still there. Read that.
This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 10.
Come on.
But man dieth and wasteth away. Ye man giveth up the ghost, and where is he?
Man give up the ghost, and where is he? Where did he go? He went to be back with the Father. Even Job had this question. So that's why it says knowledge in the later days will increase, because we have more prophets to bring out more understanding to us, where we actually have the answers to questions that Job had, huh? A perfect man in the earth. Let's get another one. See, really, death is just sleep. The death that you witnessing on earth when you see your loved one, they finish, their soul has expired, their candlestick is put out, that's just sleep, because really they still persisting. Give me Matthew 9 and 24. Start at 23.
Book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 23.
Bring it out.
And when Jesus came into the ruler's house and saw the minerals and the people making a noise, he said unto them, give place, for the maid is not give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleeping.
And they laughed at Yahawashi when he said that. He said, she's not dead, man. She's just sleeping. That's all. Her spirit went to go be with the Most High right now. But I got the power to bring it back and place it back on her vessel. They ain't believe it. They laughed. Did they laugh in this chapter? They laughed when he said that.
Con. And they laughed him to scorn.
This is Yahawashi, man. You laughing at Yahawashi. See, that's that, and that tell you today, when people laugh at you today when you out at camp and they making fun of your garments and your family's judging you, they laughed at Yahawashi. It's an honor to be laughed at. When they laugh at you, you laugh with them. Because guess who's going to laugh last?
That's right.
Give me Revelation 14 and 13, and that's it. And we're going to let the brother do his thing. Revelation 14:13.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 14 and verse 13.
Bring it out.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth.
Come on.
Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors.
They're going to rest from their labors when they die. That doesn't mean that they, like I was saying, the Jehovah's Witnesses teach you that their spirit is just void. You just catatonic. You done until the Most High brings the judgment. No, they resting. Like Yahawah said, the maid is not dead. She's just asleep. Okay? Give me Psalms 13:3. I said last one, but Salakia, man, you got to understand how I was taught, man. When you say last one, it'd be another one right behind it, man. We do that sometimes. Psalms 13:3.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 13 and verse 3.
Come on.
Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten my eyes, lest I sleep and sleep the sleep of death.
Lest I sleep the sleep of death. There's two types of sleep. There's the one you stayed up all night and you sleep because you got to go to work tomorrow. But then there's the sleep of death too. So when your man dies and passes away, he's asleep, man. He's not gone. His spirit just went to be with the Most High. And it'd be the Most High's will. He might send it back, man, for this brother to come back and live this experience again. Okay, just like Elijah had to come back and prophesy again. Just like John told you, I will come back and prophesy again. All right. So that's really the Sons of Thunder take and understanding on what happens when a man dies and what happens to the spirit. Nah, Daniel 12:2, we're going to hold that. Go ahead, Al.
All right. All praises. All right. That was an excellent breakdown. Answer some questions I actually had. I do have some more questions for you. And if y'all got some questions, we're gonna open it up in a second, man. If y'all want to call in and put your questions out to the speaker, and man, don't be shy. Don't be shy. If you got a question, please call. But the first question I want to ask is the whole going to heaven and hell thing after you die. Is that like is it pagan? Is it a pagan belief? Where did it come from? Like, is it something that the Catholic Church pushed? Where did that whole concept come from? Or is it just a misunderstanding of what Christ said?
It comes from misinterpretation of scripture, because brothers say they see hell in the Bible, and then what they do is they cross that and say, what?
White supremacy.
I'm going to let you explain that. Hold on 1 second. This brother got to say something.
I believe it's a part of white supremacy. The white man, he teaches you. The white man, he teaches you that you go to heaven and hell after you die, because that's what the white man wanted you to strive for, to get to heaven, that you would have to die. There would be no kingdom on earth. So they try to misinform the children of Israel purposely. That's where you get all of that. You die, you go to heaven, or you go to hell after you die, which is not the truth, because the white man will never teach you the actual scriptures.
So how was he? If it's white supremacy and that's what he used to fool Israel about the kingdom being on earth, how was he able to use that concept, or what tool did he use to push that concept to make it so successful that all of our people, that's what we believe, we're going to heaven and hell?
Because for the most part, our people believe in white supremacy. Mm-hmm. Because we believe what the white man says without proof.
Right.
The white man doesn't have to give you proof about anything. As long as he says it, you believe it. You believe that Santa Claus is going to come through your chimney.
You believe Jesus is a white man.
You believe Jesus is a white man. You believe anything. You believe that if you go vote on Tuesday, that something's going to change for you.
Right.
You believe in white supremacy, whether you want to think that or not. The most part, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans believe in the white man more than they believe in anything else. That's why they depicted Yahawashi as Cesar Borgia, because they knew that if they depict him as your Lord, you would never go against him. You'll never go against any white man. If you have, this is a little off, but if you have a daughter, you'll see that a black man will get all his friends and they'll have guns and they'll be all strong. if you want to date his daughter, you come near my daughter.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hey, hold your calls. Hold your calls. Give us a few minutes, and we'll bring you on. So if you're in the queue right now, just stay in the queue, and then we'll get you to come on with your questions. But go ahead.
Go ahead with the gun. No.
Oh, so like I was saying, so a black man will get all his friends, right? Let's sit around and make pictures of them protecting one of his daughters against like another black young man who wants to date his daughter. I have guns, and if you mess with my daughter, I'm gonna. But if a white Edomite cop beats your daughter down, all them guns are staying on safe. You're not gonna buck up against the white man for any reason.
Right.
Good point.
He can beat you down, and you're just gonna wait a couple of weeks, march, and then let it go. But you always go against your own kind. That's the whole point of white supremacy. They got us all clouded.
I agree. I back that brother up, and I agree with what he's saying. That hell concept is, I mean, if you go back into the old Catholic doctrine, they used to say that your loved ones was being held by their hair over the hellfire, and that your prayers would cause the angel to lift them a little higher. I went to a Catholic school, man. I learned all the history of that. They taught us that, like, that was one of the biggest lies in the Catholic Church, was that your tithes and your alms would save your dead loved ones from hanging over the hellfire. And
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, man. People were simple as hell believing that. Really, what they saw in the Bible was the word hell, and they put that together with Hades, and then they put that together with, it's the underrealm, when really they was just talking about the valley of Gehenna, okay? And that valley is where you used to burn the bodies of people that didn't have family. They couldn't get a proper burial. You would just burn them, okay? It was a big garbage dump, a big mortuary. That's Sheol, man. That's why when you study these scriptures, you learn that Israel required a sign, man. And they simple, okay? But when you go into the doctrine of the Most High, there's no confusion, okay? There ain't no realm where Satan is ruling. Guess the realm where Satan is ruling?
What's that?
Here. You know what I'm saying?
He's got Israel. Okay, it makes sense. But I guess it just, like you said, it boils back down to not studying the scripture, but yet sitting in pews, just listening to what you're being told and listening to opinions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I mean, good one. Question I had also. Well, you actually just answered one of them. So, what did Christ mean when he said by hell? You're saying it was Sheol. That's where they burnt the.
That's the valley of Gehenna, man. That's where the valley of just burn bodies there. That means that's where your worm will not die. You're just gonna go there to be destroyed. You're gonna just be in the congregation of the dead. He who wandered out of the way of the Lord will remain in the congregation of the dead. And they congregated right there, and they burning right there. Now there is something called the second death. That's in the final judgment. Mm-hmm. That's where your spirit can be destroyed. That's where you can be extinguished. Okay? So only the Most High, because the books are going to have to be open, and you're going to have to stand before the Lord, and every idle word is going to have to come into the balance. That's why listen, everything's a teaching lesson, Israel. Be careful how you talk about brothers, man. You don't know who you talking about. We just showed you that the spirit can come back, that the spirit of the former prophets still persists, and you up here slandering brothers. You might be talking about one of the holiest men who, in this generation, fell to the wiles of sin. So now you judging that man, but he been putting in work before you was even thought of. You don't even know that, okay? That's and every idle word is going to come into account, man. And the Most High going to hold you accountable for that. You accusing this man of this, and you did this. You thought I didn't see that? A hypocrite can't stand before me. All you had to do is keep your mouth shut, but you chose to accuse. So guess what? There is one that accuseth us all. And as soon as you make the accusation, you get accused. The Most High is not a hypocrite, nor a respecter of persons. So we try to, when you see us in our videos and we talk to Jake, we try to restore Jake. We try to rebuild him, man. We don't lie about our shortcomings. We admit our faults. And that helps us relate. And I think that makes us useful to the mission.
Okay. All right. So you touched on the second death. That's spoken of in Revelation. So with that being said, there is a second death. So who, how can I ask the question? All right, the question was presented to me. What happens to those people who left here not knowing they were Israel, or who grew up in Christianity, not believing they had to keep the Most High's laws because they were done away with, and that were basically brainwashed into believing a bunch of things that just weren't true? What happened to them? Are they in that second death, or how does that work for them?
But beloved brother Paul gave a precept for that. Give me Romans 2:14. Paul was deep. Paul said he saw the third heaven. You know, you got it. 2:14. Paul is deep, man. It's hard to be understood. Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 14.
Bring it out.
For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves.
Stop, brother. You smashing people's brains right there. Read that slow one more time. Just go little by little.
Romans chapter 2 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
For when the Gentiles...
Who are the Gentiles?
Yes, can we know who the Gentiles are?
Yes, sir.
I believe the Gentiles are the Israelites.
Okay, good. The brother knows something. See, because Paul would tell you in Romans 9:24, the Gentiles are talking about the Israelites that didn't know that they was Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a cut. Christians do not want to deal with Romans 9:24. They want to say, see, you're gonna be as the sand of the sea, and those who was not the children of God is gonna be called the children of God. He's quoting Hosea, man.
Right.
Them Gentiles is Israelites.
Right.
So of course, in this instance, he's talking about Israelites. Like, we're not gonna spell everything out for the scoffers or the gainsayers. Yeah, there's times when he's talking about the true Gentiles. But based on what you should know about the Bible, you should be able to know when he's talking about true heathen and when he's talking about Israel in a Gentile state of mind. This is an example of Israel in a Gentile state of mind. Read that again.
Romans chapter 2 and verse 14.
Right.
For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained.
When the Gentiles who don't have the law automatically, just by the type of person they are, do the things that are in the law. Go ahead.
Do the things contained in the law. These having not the law are a law unto themselves.
So even though they didn't know the law, they have a law unto themselves. Explain that. Go to the next verse.
Verse 15. Which shew the work of the law written in their heart.
They had the law written in their hearts, even though they was never taught to keep the commandments. They was still keeping the commandments because it was in their spirit. That's what we've been talking about all night, man. You never know that brother might not have never learned in this generation that he's an Israelite and might have been raised thinking he was a Greek his whole life. But in his past life, he was one of the mightiest prophets. He probably stood with Nehemiah. So it was like written in his heart. It was written in his mind, because the heart is your mind. It was in his spirit already to keep the commandments. Go ahead, finish that.
To the works of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the mean, while accusing or else excusing one another.
In other words, their thoughts either said, don't do that, that's wicked. Or their thoughts said, that right there, what you're about to do, that's all right, that's reasonable. That's a governor in their mind. They had a governor on their spirit built in because they're Israelites. We always been the Most High's people. The Most High chose us to be a special people unto himself above all the nations on the earth from the foundation of creation. That's why I tell these brothers all the time, the Most High already decided who's getting the kingdom. You just got to live it out. You might be coming to camp thinking you're the most wicked brother in the camp, and the Most High been picked you for the kingdom. He been chose you. It's not up to you. It's not up to him that runneth. You understand what I'm saying? So what we showing you is that even though they died not knowing the laws of who they was, their life excuses or accuses them because they got the law written in their hearts anyway. And guess what? That means all them slaves on that boat That means all them people that came through these trials, all them hundreds and hundreds of years of not knowing we the children of Israel, the lifestyle we was living was bearing witness that we was Israelites, man. You got Nat, he had the spirit to save his people. Harriet Tubman had the spirit to save his people. We don't teach to mock brothers like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and our King. Them brothers ain't know that they was Israelites. They ain't get it. They knew that the Bible was true. They had an inkling that Most High was dealing with them on some type of level, but they didn't have the doctrine that we have now. But by their life, they either excuse or accuse, man. You think, here it is, Malcolm X stood up there and took shotgun pellets to the chest. You think the Most High not going to remember his works? The Most High is not unrighteous to forget your good works. He was teaching the black man to stand up, to fight against oppression. These brothers gave their lives. You got brothers down in them that won't even come to camp. So we don't do that at our camp. We don't mock them brothers like that, man. Romans 10:2? Yeah, get that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
See, they got a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. That's why Romans 10:1 is written. That's why we chose Romans chapter 10, verse 1 as our basically our motto. Read that, man.
Romans 10:1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
That man told you he prays for Israel that they be saved. That's what he did. He ain't say, I'm praying for the brothers that knew that they was Israel. He's praying for Israel that they might be saved. And that needs to be everybody's prayer, man. We need to have more love for ourselves. This place ain't got no love for us.
Powerful breakdown. I've never heard it explained like that. That's got my head spinning. that has my head spinning. And I know I
ain't writing none of that. That's
right. All praise to the Most High. Yeah. Exactly. I know one of my family members had that question, and I want to ask. I don't want to say a name or who it was, but one of my family members had that question, and it was a great concern for her about a certain family member or other family members who, now that we're coming into this truth, knowing who we really are, but we look back at those we love, those who we believe were good and lived a good life, and seeing that, well, they didn't have the opportunity to know who they were. So is there a mercy to present it for them because they didn't know, because they did grow up in the Christian realm like we all grew up, but they didn't have the chance to come out and understand that, hey, you really Israel, or the true Christians that were actually first way back in Antioch. So we myself too were wondering that, and that right there, that was a powerful answer to a question that was on the hearts and minds of a lot of us. So that definitely.
Let me get you one more precept. Okay. Acts 24:15 to go with what you just said. Acts 24:15.
Acts chapter 24, verse 15.
Slacky, that's all right?
No, hey, we learning. This is edification. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience, void of offense toward God and toward men.
That man said, I hope it's a resurrection for the righteous and the wicked. I'm not going to condemn no man, so that my conscience is clean towards God and towards man.
Right.
Because you don't know who them brothers are that you wishing death on. You don't know who you're talking about. Right. The Bible says that we're going to judge the angels. What happens when you're facing that brother that you wish death on and he's one of the judges? Because the Most High done restored him to his right mind. And he looking you in the face like, you wish death on me when we was on earth?
Right.
That's the Most High to kill me, bro? Let's hope that all Israel be saved, man. Be safe.
Right.
Try to build your people up, man.
That's what we do as a people, man. I don't know. Is it the curses? By nature, we just seem to pull each other down, man, and it's crazy. Let me say this real quick. We have plenty of time. A couple of speakers, I don't know what happened. They didn't get back to me. So, I mean, things could have came up, so I don't know. I'll talk to him later. So we have plenty of time. You're not on a time restraint right now, so if you want to bring him out, bring him out. And let me just say shalom to my sister Sunday of Israel, Pierre. That's my boy right there, shalom. What's that? Jenny, Chazak, my dad, C. Glenn Lyons, Cotavious, Narad. To my wife, Natasha. Y'all, shalom, shalom. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Like and share the broadcast. Like and share. But go ahead, Ak.
All right, now you asked me for the dead.
Right. There was a question presented. I believe that is 1 Corinthians. I think Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15:29, he says, is there baptism for the dead? And I believe it's in Maccabees, 1st or 2nd Maccabees, 12 and 45. Where it talks about 2nd Maccabees? Okay. So the question is presented, well, can we pray for the dead? I mean, are the dead just going straight to judgment, or is there a prayer that we can pray for them, or how does that work?
Get with his scripture in 1 Corinthians.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 29.
Bring it out.
Else, what shall they do which are baptized for the dead, if the dead rise not at all? Why are they then baptized for the dead?
I'm going to have to look at that in the context what's being said there. I'm not going to pretend I know why Paul asked that question.
Okay.
You know anything about that question? Read above that. 28.
28. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all.
Go ahead.
Else, what shall they do which are baptized for the dead, if the dead rise not at all? Why are they then baptized for the dead?
Yeah, man, like what's the point? If the Most High is not going to dwell in your spirit, if there's no way you can be redeemed, then what was the point? Because you're baptized in the spirit of Yahawashi, who died for your sins. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't acknowledge the death of Christ, which gives you grace, then what's the point? It's almost asking you like, well, what's the whole point of trying if there is going to be if there's no way for you to be saved when you acknowledge the death of Christ? That's what I see is being said right there. And if I'm wrong, I would like to stand corrected. But there is scriptures that talk about praying for the dead. That's one of the knocks on the Apocrypha. You know, everybody that speaks against the Apocrypha does that same Google search. And that same Google oh, yeah. That same Google search says that they teach magic, that alms can save you, and that you can pray for the dead. It's the same old 1990 website that everybody get their scriptures to hate on the Apocrypha. Oh, you Christians are slick, okay? None of them have actually picked this thing up and read it, man, and seen the treasures in it. Sirach is so.
Can we do that? Can we just I don't know if it can be done like briefly or really quick, but can we go ahead and establish some of the foundation of the Apocrypha that it's okay for us to read it? It is some books or scripture that we should use. We should follow that. Because I even heard no one in the New Testament ever followed the Apocrypha. And I'm like, well, what was Yahawashi celebrating? The dedication? Where did it come from?
That's your cut.
What was he celebrating? What was he observing?
They can't get around that. Because the Feast of Dedication is not in Leviticus chapter 23. Nope. No. It was prophesied to come. The Maccabees had to bring that thing through, man. And Yahawashi was standing on Solomon's porch, and it was winter. You understand what I'm saying? That Feast of Dedication, John chapter 10. So, what you want to read something?
No, I'm just looking.
As far as the Apocrypha is concerned, you got to ask yourself why the white man took the Apocrypha out of the Bible.
That's a lot of things.
He took it out of the Bible for a reason. There are things in the Bible that, in the Apocrypha, there are things in the Bible that, in the Old Testament that condemn him, but in the Apocrypha, it showed how he got here. Like, what's the guy's name? The guy who went to the island.
Now, you say
Columbus. Columbus used the Apocrypha.
He used second edge
to get here.
Right.
Because he was following the northern children. The northern tribe. He wanted. Go ahead.
Now, you say it shows how he got here. Now, one reason I believe also why he took it out, I can't recall off the top of my head, but I do remember reading two different places where what I understood to prophesy Caesar Borgia, the changing of the image. So I thought that was a very strong reason why
we read that at camp today. We brought that out at camp. Yeah, brother. This brother Eliel.
Yeah, Khan.
Shalom.
Shalom. Yeah, like I actually wanted to expound on that because I'm Northern Kingdom, right? So the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, does talk about the 10 tribes, how we got to Arzareth, which is now called America, right? There's also the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, which you just spoke about. 15 on down talks about how Pope Alexander VI had the image of Cesare Borgia commissioned, right? So that's another reason why they took it out, because they wouldn't be able to push that picture that they've been perpetrating as YAHAWASHI if everybody in the, if everybody that knows the scriptures knows about that scripture being in the Bible, that prophecy being in the Bible, right? Also, the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48,
right,
where it talks about them laying open the book of the law and just changing all the images, right?
Right.
So, also 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 54, where it basically says that God doesn't love the world. You feel me? And that everybody that isn't the chosen person of Israel is nothing but spit to the Most High, basically, right? So you put all those things together, they can't technically leave them into the Bible because it doesn't go against Christian or Catholic doctrine.
Yeah, it doesn't. It won't fit the agenda.
Right. So that's all I wanted to say.
God, excellent. Yeah, I got brothers, man. I'm blessed to have these brothers, man. Give me 2 Timothy 1:15, because here's one example where the scholars say that Paul prayed for the dead. 2 Timothy 1:15.
So 2 Timothy 1:15. This thou knowest, that all they which are in Asia be turned away from me, of whom are
some hard names. Hold on, let me get there.
Philogellus.
Yeah, that's good.
And Hermogenes.
That's good.
The Lord give mercy unto the house of Osinophorus.
Good.
For he oft refreshed me, and was not ashamed of my chain.
Come on.
Verse 17. But when he was in Rome, he sought me out very diligently and found me.
So the scholars say he's talking about this brother Onesiphorus in the past tense. He said, give mercy unto his house, not to him directly. For he oft refreshed me and was not ashamed. He is not ashamed. He was not ashamed of my chain. And when he was in Rome, he sought me out very diligently and found me. It's like he's talking about this brother in the past tense.
Verse 18, the Lord grant unto him that he may find mercy of the Lord in that day.
See, he said on that brother, may the Lord grant him mercy in that day. So brothers believe that Onesiphorus was already dead. That's why he blessed his house, his family, the people that he left behind. And he's asking the Most High to have mercy on that brother in the day of the Lord. There you go. That's in the New Testament. Paul praying for a brother that doesn't pass.
Yeah, right.
You see it, right? If you don't see it, some things is not revealed.
That's also a cut to the people that don't think that we will be back in there. Because, why is he doing that if you don't have a chance to come back?
There you go. See, you know what I'm saying? Now you see how when brothers let go of the Christian dogma and the plantation Christianity and just deal with what the Bible is saying, how we can have a spiritual discussion. You see that? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
how we can build real quick like that.
Right.
You don't have to become a fanatic and shave off half your head and you bugged out. No, is you getting more spiritual. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Give me 2 Maccabees 12:43, because that's what he was mentioning earlier.
All right. Why you getting that? Mr. Raymond that Stansberry say there is mercy. That's what grace is all about. I mean, I agree. There is mercy. Most High is merciful, but what was the point of you saying that? Like, if you got a point you were making, if I'm missing it or if we're missing it, give us a ring. Call in. All right. I'll put the number up on the screen.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for is that mercy, man. That's all you can hope for. That's why the Lord said you got to forgive your neighbor his trespasses so the Lord will forgive you yours. Because if you forgive not your neighbor his trespasses, neither will the Father in heaven forgive your trespasses. So it's like automatic extra credit with the Most High when you let something slide. Oh, brother, disrespecting me, that's cool. Oh, I like that. I like how you did that. I like that. I'm not going to be stupid, I might not deal with you. See, then it gets simple, right? Mm-hmm. To forgive a brother, you got to be all up in all up in his face again. You sleep at my house. Here's my bank card. I forgive you. No, right. You can forgive the brother, but don't be dumb. Like, brother, I forgive you. And I hope nothing happens to you. And that's sincere. I hope the Most High bless you in your house. But I'm not dealing with you no more. I just understand that. It's not wicked, man. That's not wicked. That's wisdom. Read what you got.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 12 and verse 43.
Bring it out.
And when he had made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachms of silver, mm-hmm. he sent it to Jerusalem to offer a sin offering, doing therein very well and honestly, in that he was mindful of the resurrection.
This is talking about Judas Maccabees, yeah?
For if he had not hoped that they that were slain should have risen again, it had been superfluous and vain to pray for the dead.
So the Bible is telling you that superfluous means there's like no reason to do that. It's like vanity. And it said that it was superfluous and vain to pray for the dead. Like it almost has no point. You wasting your time. Keep reading.
And also in that they perceived that there was a great favor laid up for those that died godly. It was an holy and good thought.
It was a holy and good thought, man. To try to offer a sacrifice for those that had already died. These is warriors that he's doing this for, God.
Whereupon he made a reconciliation for the dead, that they might be delivered from sin.
That and look, see how people get mad? Oh, he prayed for the dead to be saved. No, that there might be a reconciliation. So how is it wicked to take time to pray for those that have passed on, that the Most High might have mercy on them? And at the same thing, Paul said that it is my prayer and heart's desire for Israel that they might be saved. He's praying for the dead right there. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of Israelites that done passed and went on. And Paul is hoping that they might be saved. So that's the same thing with Judas Maccabees. That's righteous to try and pray for people that have passed. Yo, how is it wicked if your mother died not knowing the truth, but she was a good mother? How is it wicked for you to ask the Most High, yo, have mercy on my mom. Please let me see her in the kingdom, Lord. See, people lose common sense and they want to be so scriptural, airtight that they lose the human factor. How is you wicked for saying, yo, my homeboy, he was out in the street dealing drugs. He was wicked, man. But he was good to me and my family. And I know that, brother, if I could have just had more time, I could have brought him around for you, Lord. Be merciful to him, Most High. Right. Let me see our brother again, or do something. Just give my brother another chance. How is that wicked for praying for that? You see what I'm saying? That's the human factor. That's called love, man. Paul said he wished that he could be a curse for his brother. Mm-hmm. How many of y'all feel like that? You wish you could go through the suffering that Christ went through for your Israelite brothers that's around you, man. Don't lose that human factor. God.
Right. I was going to say that the sufferings of Christ, man. I mean, this is a real petty example of, as you see, what the law said, we got to grow our beards out. I don't grow too much. I always show people this. I grow what I can, and I was, I'm trying to get it to grow in. So I was combing one day and I got a string caught in the comb and it popped. And when I say it brought tears to my eyes, I almost went down to one knee. I'm like, that one string, that one little string. So when Christ's beard was ripped from his face, like you say, how many of us can say we want to be in that position? Just knowing what he went through, that was a work. That was a work, and ain't a lot of us who will be willing to put ourselves in that position. So I'm with you. That was powerful work.
So that's that human factor. Can we pray? Give me one more precept. James 5:16. So don't deny the power of prayer. I thought all things was possible in YAHAWASHI. So if all things is possible in YAHAWASHI, it is possible that the Most High might have mercy on those that didn't know the truth, man. That's why Paul taught you that they had a law to themselves. You know a wicked person. The wickedness comes out their pores when they wicked, and you know a person that's lost.
Yeah.
See, a person that's lost, you feel sorry for him. That's why the Bible said, weep for the fool, man. You got to weep for him. And that's not just talking about somebody that's stupid. That's talking about somebody that don't know this truth. You got to weep for the fool, man.
What precept is that? Because I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was saying that I feel like there's a difference between being brainwashed and ignorant. When you're ignorant, you just don't know. You never heard of it. Like, I was ignorant to the fact that I was Israel, but when I came around to the facts and the knowledge of it, I accepted the fact. But then those who are brainwashed, you can show them the facts, you can show them everything, they still won't take it. That's my definition of brainwashed. So we say you got to weep for the fool. What precept is that? Because I was like having that conversation just the other day.
Brother Eliel called it in Sirach 22:11, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 22, verse 11. Read that.
It's Sirach chapter 22, verse 11. Weep for the dead, for he hath lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he hath wanted understanding.
You got to weep for the fool because he wants understanding, man. That's why when you see us out there teaching, we get a lot of comments like, why are you still talking to that nigga? He ain't gonna get it. Send him down the block. Why are you talking? Yo, them comments, you can hear they raspy voice. Why are you talking to that nigga? But
right.
We really, really sincerely trying to make Jake get it. Because he wants understanding. He don't know. Think about yourself when you thought you knew something before you came in this truth and how proud you was. Think about it. Nobody could have told me back when I was in high school or when I was younger, before I had these grays in my face, nobody could have told me I was an Israelite. I would have argued with you because I thought I knew something. So you should have wept for me like, this guy, he needs understanding. I'm a weak Most High. Please don't kill my brother. He don't know. That's why what did Christ say? Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do.
Very true.
Are we doing that? Are we looking at our brothers like that? No, we trying to find the quickest way to cut them with the scriptures and make an example out of them on video, right? And send them down the block.
Right. Now check this out. Coming into the truth. That's how I got into the truth. I saw some funny looking dressed guys saying some weird stuff. So I said, all right, let me get this book. I'm finna go show them they wrong. But I'm gonna stay in half this book though, because that other half don't matter no more. So I'm gonna stay in half this book. And the more they talk, the more I tried to prove them wrong, the more I had to stop and scratch my head. Like, wait, hold on. Never heard that before. Precepts start coming out. And that's why I said it's a difference between being brainwashed and just ignorant. Because I was raised that, or we can read it, but we're not under it. So we saying this half to the book. So when I start talking to these guys and getting more involved and listening and the more I tried to prove wrong, the more I got proven wrong. Right. And so at some point, I'm like, you know what? It's either you're going to believe it or you're not. Either you say you believe the book or you don't believe the book. It's just one or the other. You're not going to halfway believe one side, not the other side. What class did you ever take? What class did you ever take when let's use science or English or whatever. You go to school, a book has 30 chapters. You start at chapter 15, but you got all the knowledge. I don't get it. So I had to humble down to the scriptures. And by doing that, I start seeing, hey, man, these guys, they're actually right. These funny dressed guys, they're actually dressing according to our culture. So I had to humble myself down. So you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Yeah. And look, and blessed be you with those who see. Blessed be those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, man.
Oh, praise
you always got to feel lucky that it just as easy as I accepted the truth, I can still be denying this. Just as easy. I can that don't make no sense. Where's the blunt at? I ain't chilling with these guys. I ain't dealing with these guys. Like it's that easy, man. So that's why we wanted to get James 5 and 16 reading.
This is James chapter 5, verse 16. Confess your faults one to another.
Hey, who does that? You got brothers acting like they the most righteous Israelites to ever live and they never stumbled before. And once they get the chance to villainize you and make you the leper, they leap on this opportunity, man. Oh, nigga, you wicked. The voice get right. You're gonna die. The Most High gonna kill you, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Bible says, confess your faults to one another, man. Confess your faults to one another. Yeah.
And pray one for another.
And pray one for another. Hardest thing to do is pray for your enemy. Hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is take the time that you would spend asking the Most High to help you and dedicate some of that time to somebody that's disrespecting you, man. And that's why Yahawah had to actually tell you, pray for those who curse you and despitefully use you. He had to tell you that because there is no way that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Read it from the top.
What, 16?
Yeah.
This is, okay. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much.
The effectual, meaning with love. Fervent, that means passionate. Prayer of a righteous man availeth much. That means it works. That means the Most High is listening to him. And guess what? He took time to pray for your wicked ass. That's crazy. Thank you, brother. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we got to hope that all Israel be saved. We got to modify our approach to how we deal with Jake in the street. Look at yourself when you're teaching him. That's you in a mirror. When you teaching Jake in the street, look at yourself, man, and try your best to bring him in. We were talking to Jake earlier with the glasses on, and he was kind of acting like he wasn't too interested, but we kept pressing him, and then he stayed the whole camp. He stayed the whole camp because we put that energy towards him.
So, Lockie, even for the people who don't get it when you first bring it to them and they walk away, you still got to pray that they come back and they somewhere down the line accept the truth. Because me, myself, when I was in South Florida, a brother from the northern tribe, he tried to edify me on the bus. I was rolling a blunt. I'm like, I don't want to hear what you're saying. You're wicked as hell. I get off the bus, he gets off the bus. I'm smoking the drink. He's still trying to talk to you. Later on, I found myself yearning for the truth. What brother was saying to me earlier made sense. Mm-hmm. And I was actually in school. I was taking some kind of religious course. And through the study of taking that course, I found out that everything that brother said was the truth. And when I brought it to my professor, who was a Jewish guy, mm-hmm, he actually flunked me for the truth.
Wow. I can believe it. I believe it.
Okay, Tom. Mm-hmm. So out of the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahawah, of Yahawah.
And that's because, look, he just told you, his spirit was yearning. The word he chose was yearning. That was me, man. When I first came in this truth, and I'm gonna admit I don't do it like I used to, but when I first came in this truth, I would watch Israelite videos until 4 in the morning. Right. I had to work the next day. I didn't care. I wanted to watch every single one I could find. Now, brothers got to make lessons. Mm-hmm. It's different now. Too much study is weariness of the flesh. But yo, man, that was our spirit bearing witness. Like, no, this is what I want. That stuff you've been looking at, how you've been passing the time in your days, I ain't really want that. This is what I want. You see what I'm saying, brother?
Man, all praises, man. Much edification. Much edification. Hey, as I was saying earlier, I'm sure everybody on here know you. For those who don't, Brother Yaw'al, Sons of Thunder Israelites. And as I was saying earlier, like you said, we come into this truth, and some brothers start to get popular, or call it some Israelite fame, whatever we want to call it, and they start, going and getting this big head, and they don't want to deal with, the little people. So, but when I reached out to this brother, man, he reached back and was humble, and that's just all praise to the Most High for this brother, man. You and everybody, all the brethren, and you say you're over in Atlanta. I'm not too far from you. I'm like 20 minutes away. Well, actually, I don't know where you are in Atlanta, how deep you are in Atlanta, but I'm in Douglasville. I'm like 20 minutes away from you.
I got family out there.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get over to Atlanta, and we're gonna have to link up. I'm gonna have to come in and congregate, man. And
come to camp, man. Come to camp.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm gonna definitely come out there.
Bring
I
some
normally
young-
try to avoid Atlanta like the plague because I don't like y'all streets. I don't like driving over there. I don't like that traffic.
There's some
But,
bad
man,
driving out here.
Yeah, it's bad.
Sodomite. Why about that?
And there's a lot of sodomites, brother. Get ready.
Hey, listen.
Put an iron vest on, an iron shirt. It's off.
Man, me and my wife, we both from South Florida, and we lived in like Tampa for like the last maybe 7-8 years before we moved here. Now we heard about it.
What part of South Florida are you from?
Say again.
What part of South Florida are you from?
I'm from Palm Beach. My wife from Miami.
Okay, I'm from Broward County.
Yeah, my mom too.
Okay.
Well, she probably knows where. Yeah, you're from West Palm.
Palm Beach, Boynton Beach, actually. Palm Beach County.
Okay.
What part of Broward?
All over Pembroke Pines. I had a studio on South Beach. I had I'm from everywhere South Florida.
Okay, familiar with it all.
The earth is your turf.
Yeah, earth.
That's right.
Hey,
right.
Actually, it is truly spoken.
The earth was made for our sakes. That's
exactly,
right.
Exactly. Man, so I appreciate you brothers for coming on. If you have anything else you want to add to it, but I believe it, man. We're edified. We got one more guest that's about to come up. He hasn't tuned in yet, but he texted me and let me know he got the link. He's gonna be coming in. But all love. I'm definitely gonna come over there, and I'm definitely coming to camp, man. Like for real, like you said some things. Like I know the one question about what happens to those, that didn't know they were Israel or didn't know they were supposed to keep the laws that's what keep them now. But the answer to that, I know it really stood out to a lot of people, especially in my family. That was a powerful answer. All praise to the Most High for giving you that understanding to share with the viewers, and I appreciate it.
Thank
so
you for having us, brother.
yeah. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Tell the viewers where they find you, like your YouTube and if email addresses or website, whatever it is you need to get out, so they can come and check you out.
All right, we the Sons of Thunder Israelites on YouTube. YouTube.com/Sons of Thunder Israelites. Don't put no spaces. Sons of Thunder Israelites. Our Gmail, Sons of Thunder Israelites @Gmail. Our Instagram, Sons of Thunder Israelites. Our Facebook, Sons of Thunder Israelites. It's all it says. It's long, but it's the same for everything.
The same.
You can remember it. All right.
No way you can get it mixed up. We got a conference call every Friday night at 8:30. Where you can ask questions and you can get into more of the doctrine of our camp, what we teach. And we teach at Woodruff Park down at 5 Points by the underground, right underneath the Coca-Cola sign. You find us every Saturday at 2:30, man. Come and show love. We cool. We could get stupid if you want to get stupid. But if you come and show love, you're going to get love.
Cool as a thing.
All right? So with that, I'm Brother Yaw'al.
Brother Canal.
Brother Eliel. And we the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It's our hope and heart's desire for Israel that they might be saved. Thanks for having us, brother.
All praise. Hey, look, Shalom, man. We're gonna meet up soon.
Shalom.
All right, all praises for them brothers, man. They really did some edification just then, man. Especially, like I said, the one question where what happens to those? Like we realizing that we're Israel, that we're supposed to keep these laws, that we've always been told that, hey, we ain't supposed to keep them because, well, we can go over here and we could say that Paul said we're no longer under the law. But when you actually start breaking down what Paul's saying, Paul's not telling you that you're not to keep the law. We can see Paul kept the law himself. So when we come into this knowledge and we know that, we're supposed to be keeping it. And then we have our family members that moved on, when I say moved on, passed away, and they weren't keeping those laws. What happened to them? Because if they didn't know, what happened to them? So the brother did an excellent job answering that question. And, I'm really stuck on the answer, man. That was exciting for me. I like that. All right. So all praises for that brother, man. Sons of Thunder Israelites. Y'all go check them out. He put a quick presentation together for us. We answered a lot of questions, but these brothers really get into the scriptures. They really break things down. He was trying to stay within my time constraints, so he was trying to get through it. But the brother has a lot of knowledge, So if y'all check him out, Sons of Thunder Israelites on YouTube, where he said Facebook. He also said their Gmail, Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com. Man, y'all check them out, okay? All right, so until my next guest come in, which is Deacon Hakah of Sicarii. If y'all familiar with him, I'm pretty sure you are. Deacon Hakah Sicarii. He texted me and said he got the link, so I'm just waiting for him. So what I'm about to do right now, I'm going to play some more of these artists that are in the truth, and I'm going to start back from the top of the list because there's a couple of fire songs, man, that a couple of y'all didn't hear because y'all weren't on here. So I'm going to play these starting back from the top. Let me see, because this one brother, let me see if I can pronounce his name. Bandman Tanner. Bandman Tanner. He gonna correct me if I ain't say it right. So Bandman Tanner. So I'm gonna start off with him. We gotta play some of that Deacon Hakah Sicarii. Y'all already know he fire. He needs no introduction. So all right. So until he come in, let's play a few songs. Listen, if you got any questions, call. Let me put it up on the screen for you. Let me put it up on the screen. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Call in. If you got something that you just kind of wanted to ask and never had the give me a second. He just texted in. He said, "Can I send the chief the same link for him to join, or is that all right?" No worries. He's asking me, can he bring in the Gorilla Hebrew with him? Let him know. All right. So he's about to get ready to come in, but until he do, we're gonna go ahead and play some of this music, and when he get on, we're going to go through same thing, and we're going to ask some of the questions, and we're going to let them give the spiel about, what happens. Well, not their spiel, but what the word says about what happens, after life after death. So until then, I want y'all to check these artists out. Now, the artists I'm about to play, all these artists, you can go to my page, go to my InsideTheNationRadio.com. That's InsideTheNationRadio.com. Click on the banners, the web banners on there. Check them out, man. This one right here is a free download for his mixtape. It's fire. Check them out.
Judah, LOG, yeah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm a Shemite, baby. Yeah. It always be knocking, so we got pride. Religion melts your brain, son, that you ain't learn a thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You follow my walk like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. Before you gon' burn up you zombies. Religion melts your brain, son, that you ain't learn a thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You follow my walk like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. Before you gon' burn up you zombies. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comments. They slipping like Martin O'Sonny. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful garments. They slipping like Martin O'Sonny. Jungle in the urban of Wisconsin. Oh, my motherland, Yahawahda. Oh, they slipping, better dry the towel up. I'm the type of Jew, hate my enemies. Mama used to call me king, baby. Return to the law, be a king, hasted. I'm an Israelite son of the ancient, but I woke up like this. Don't mean trip. You did not wish on the women no way. Facing the east and we pray during the day. Talking about Sunday to Sabbath, no way. Granny be speaking in tongues, ain't no way. Crying and moving and shaking like that. Pastor come first and he said around the tray. Tithing their money so good in no way. Robbing my people, he think it's okay. Judgment is coming to you any day. I just don't see how come one can debate. Jesus so white man, little buddy, no way. All of the prophets are black all the way. All of the angels are black all the way. Adam and Eve, they will make from the dust. Different shades of black and brown, that's us. I am an Israelite from China, Judah. No, we don't wish on no stupid no Buddha. Just like a lion, we jump for the prey. Shit like that logo on the Aki Puma. Study the law and you learn to maneuver. Shout out to Israel and Cuba, Barbuda. On the Sabbath, before we eat tuna. And I pray I wake up my solution. Ain't no time for no wicked intruders. Moses who handed the law. Not a religion, American slavery business. I'm in the system, headed for prison.
So y'all go to the website, man, InsideTheNationRadio.com, and you'll see the web banner. This brother is actually a brother out of IUIC who's doing the rapping right now. So you'll clearly see the web banner because it's purple on there. Click on that, take you right to his SoundCloud, download the music, free download.
Religion melts your brain, son, you ain't learn a thing. You angry, you act like a zombie. You follow one but like a zombie. With the scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't act like a zombie. Before you gon' burn you zombies. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Black and them beautiful comments. They stepping like Martin O'Sonny. Jungle in the urban of Ashanti. Judah don't mess with no zombies. Look at the beautiful calmly. They stepping like Martin no song. I never in the earth, no response. Imagine else, Brian Sunday, you ain't lying to die. You angry, you act like a zombie. You follow one up like a zombie. The scriptures, I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fuck you gon' burn like you zombies. Shoot it, don't mess with no zombies. LMG, we here. Zombie.
Y'all go and check that brother out, man. That brother's fire, man. I love that song. I love this one also. This is the brother Deacon Hakah who about to get ready to come on, him and the Gorilla Hebrew. And so check this out, man. This is one of my favorites right here. Also, go to my website, InsideTheNationRadio.com. Click on FWAP. The album is called FWAP. You'll see it. You'll see a big picture of Hakah and a special featured guest. Click on that, and it'll take you right to his website. You can get this album. Fire.
In my hood, you hear sirens and semis pop. Judah keep vexing Ephraim. When will the envy stop? No love for any cop. That's what got Kenny shot. Y'all drinking Henny shots. I'm investing in penny stocks. They give me props. Rapping, teaching, debating, unity, while Satan trying to weaken the nation. Cops in my community, kill us with every opportunity. No justice or peace, the police get immunity. Look, rubber bullets and riot tools when they gear up. Asking where the love went, cause judgment is near us. And kids rather pour up a foe and sip the syrup than learn about how the black Moors ruled in Europe. We divided by economic.
Man, we got some brothers in the truth that's, to me, killing everybody on the radio. I don't see how these guys ain't on the radio. I just don't see it. We know the industry got to get set up for the wrong.
Let's pray. I pray. YAHAWAH, rise, I pray. For your grace and everything that you shall provide, I pray. Every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and pump will come out of hide, I pray. Every day, no excuses or alibis, I pray. That every last one of these cowards die, I pray. All of this in the name of YAHAWASHI. Can't be the flesh, don't need the stress, so I fast and I rest instead. Cold sweats in the bath, trying to grasp as I sat in bed. In my dream, I had a twin. He stabbed me to death and fled. Visions of a pale horse and a dragon with 7 heads. Vagabond Babylon being watched by the Lord. Can't even stop by the store, cause on my block it's a war. Jehovah Witnesses don't even knock at my door, cause they know they false doctrine will get chopped by my sword. Yeah, I'm with the lyrical or the spiritual murder play. I see some ravenous wolves leading the herd astray. My homie's mom's a tweaker, I watch him serve a yay. I'm numb to this game and the pain. I'm an invertebrate. When the Messiah comes serve, we gon' witness the sun purge. He coming back to judge every idle and dumb word. My team always moving in silence, we unheard. The elite wanna converge on the elect and the 1/3. I pray, YAHAWAH, rise, I pray. For your grace and everything that you shall provide, I pray. Every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead.
Look, y'all like and share the broadcast. Like and share the broadcast.
That every last one of these cowards die, I pray.
Sam.
In the name of YAHAWASHI.
I pray you sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their bed.
We just waiting for the brother to get ready to come on, Deacon Hakah and the Gorilla Hebrew. They getting the gear set up. He texted me, so they'll be on here in a second.
If only I could spread my wings and fly away, I'd escape the place right away and be gone, vanished without a trace. That's why I stay. It ain't safe for kids to go out and play. No matter if it's night or day, you can be hit by a stray. So every morning when I awake, I pray for a brighter day. Don't know how much more darkness my eyes could take. Criminals populate the city, crime is at its highest rate. Growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of hate. Through the tribulations, I acknowledge that Yahweh's great. Can't wait till he sent his son to deliver us about this place. Babylon the Great, better known as the United States, the place that was built off of oppressing an entire race. But when them tribes awake, we about this place. Every nation under the sun gonna be more shook than a violent quake. Let's get it right, Jake, so we can take our rightful places. 12 gates reserved for us, our paradise awaits.
That's Deacon Hakah Sicarii. InsideTheNationRadio.com. Click on the FWAP album and take you straight to his website. Cop that album. Another one of my favorites right here. 400 years a slave. This, I put this one on repeat. This one don't stop. I ride from here to Georgia to South Florida with this on repeat.
28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. 1592 on the shores of West Africa. We migrated from Israel, but that's where they captured us. Rounded us up and they put us on slave ships. Headed straight to the land that they stole from the natives. Killing so many that we was an endangered species. I'm talking about bodies on bodies, I'm sleeping in peace. Polo to polo, they dropping us off. Separating the families and boxing us off. Then it's to the plantation with yokes on our neck. We expected the worst and hope for the best. Bloody fingers from all of the cotton we picked. They didn't give us nothing. Whenever we stop, we get whipped. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith.
So we just waiting for the brother to set up his gear.
35 and 30.
He'll be on in a second.
You shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood is devoureth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed. The blood
Got to get the mics and everything set up.
by the blood of him that shed it. Whips on our backs, raping our women, taking the cotton and making the linen, and these are the curses on Jacob the sinner. Taking our babies and feed them to gators. We the only people in
Raymond says fire. Hey, Mr. Rogers, you're right. That's, like I say, I put it on repeat. It stay on repeat. I ride from Georgia to Florida, just riding, repeating on this.
Master say if you run and you flee, then you be castrated and hung from a tree. Yeah, though I walk.
Also, look, y'all can call in if you got any questions. Once guests get on, if you don't want, some people are a little shy. They don't want to call in. If you don't want to call in, that's fine. Go ahead and put your comments on the screen. And as you see, what I can do, I'll go ahead and just pull your question up on the screen, highlight it, and then you can ask your questions that way if you don't want to call into the show.
Yeah, Judah, Yehuda.
This is another one of the brother songs that Bandman Tanner got his webbound on the website, Inside the Nation Radio. You click on it.
No boyfriend and boyfriend is scrumptious. We never were on the. No boyfriend and boyfriend is scrumptious. We never were on the. Proving the friend first. Better watch and be cautious. Proving the friend first. You better watch and be cautious. Actions and manners obedient. Keep it at home and she practicing. Street when she called me shamefaced. Forget she playing the mandolin. How was your day at the marketplace? Scriptures of her endomethylene. Signing and loving the double grace. Titus 2:3-5. Age woman likewise. Behavior becoming so holy. Teaching my seed, we the rulers. I'm from the tribe of Yahuwah. Fresh from the tribe of Yahuwah. Submit to the law with no questions. Your royalty love the perfection. Together we worship my Father in heaven. We seeking perfection. We seeking perfection. Sick of riding out for lusting. It's a death sentence for erection. When I'm walking the house and she studying. After 7 she got a few questions. She listen and follow directions. I die for my wife and protecting. Together we worship my Father in heaven. We seeking perfection. We seeking perfection. We seeking perfection. Seeking perfection. On Sunday she work in the garden. She know how to shop and she's charging. When the work was so evil and damaging. The scriptures that heed you advantaging. And my rep is ahead of a time. Learning the future tense. Totally indifferent, sacred. Using the law for her lenses. Ain't no faking, no acting pretentious. Shalom and the kiss when I answer. Stop with the I can't wait till my entrance. She my pillar of rest in the trenches. Priests of the power descendants. Keeping them on you relentless. She ready for fire apocalypse. She don't argue with men but no politics. Ain't no collision, we keeping them low. Ain't no religion. She could just say a few words. She could just venom a sentence. One flesh. Ain't no division. Teaching the women the law is the light. Ain't no more tripping. And we repenting. Yeah. Fire apocalypse. She don't argue with men but no politics. Ain't no collision. Keeping them low, no religion. You could just say a few words. She could just venom a sentence. One flesh. Ain't no no division. Teaching the women the law is the light. Ain't no more tripping, and we repenting, and we repenting. Yeah, no girlfriend, no book in the scripts. We married with honors. No girlfriend, no girlfriend, no scripts. We married with honors. We been a friend first. Better watch and be cautious. No girlfriend, no book in the scripts. We married with honors. No girlfriend, no book in the scripts. We married with honors. We been a friend first.
There were a couple other artists in the truth that I want to put them on the playlist, but you know, with the whole YouTube and Facebook thing, you know, you gotta have. They gave me their music to put on here, gave me permission, but I just need, if you guys watching, I need you guys to go ahead and get that form back to me, because if I put it on here and I put it on YouTube, I got to be able to prove that you guys said that I can play your music. So if you're watching, go ahead and get that form back to me. Then I can put you in the playlist and let the people, you know, check your music out. Because there's some hot artists out here. These dudes fire. Let's get one more in. Hopefully the brother be in here by the time this one go off.
Deacon Wood to go Deacon Wood. Playing with me, this is Deacon Hood. They say that boy Deacon good. This is the birth of a nation for real. We spiritual killers, no Hollywood. I'm from the alleys of Rainier Valley, in particular Hollywood. Listen, I come from Crippin', where niggas is tripping and gripping the shoddy wood. Niggas be getting too deep, but just stick to the milk, because milk does the body good. Modern day Moses, like Moses, I'm leading my people up out this captivity. And I ain't gonna stop till my people on top, and they all say that liberty. Look, I ain't indulging in frozen and eating my wicked activity. And I think the month of February is way too short for Black history. Yeah, I am an activist. I'm calling Kaepernick way above average. The man from Nazareth, he is immaculate. I am the catalyst. I was like Lazarus. I ain't gonna stop. I keep the matches lit. Kodak should capture this. Sync on your battleship. Precision, accurate. Flow is so hazardous. I just pray I'm taking up when the rapture gets
Nah, don't nobody get pushed back because he used the N-word. I know you listen to some of that stuff on the radio. That definitely can't get pushed back because of that.
Keeping the faith. Before the judgment is the season of praise. I'm seeking his faith. My sisters don't like their natural look at all they want. Heathen hair. My brothers just kill their young brothers in the streets and don't even care. It's time for me to start educating, separating the wheat from tares. And niggas get cooked when it comes to the beef in the streets, but the beef is rare.
I just got a good idea presented to me. Next show, what I'm gonna try and do is get the videos, because there's some videos that go out for these songs. So I'm gonna see if I can get permission to use the video, so when I play them, I can play the video. You guys can actually see the videos and all that good stuff that go into it, add some more effects to it. Support these artists, man. Get the album. A lot of them give them away for free. A lot of them, if they sell them, it's like, you know, just a couple bucks. Man, show some support. Show some love.
We can't even let our kids outside to run around. Police are policing the streets, trying to hunt us and gun us down.
All right, so while we're waiting for the brothers to come on, for y'all who joined us, I'm just going to go over what we're going to be talking about. Let me get it pulled back up here. Give me a second. All right, so what we're really talking about right now is life after death. You know, a lot of people got questions about, you know, what happens? What happens when we leave here? You know, we've always been told, well, if you're good, you go to heaven. If you accepted Christ, you go to heaven. But if you have not been good, if you have not accepted Christ, then you're going to hell. You know, a lot of people have these, what do they call them? The in near-death experiences, NDEs, when they say, I closed my eyes and then I saw hell and I saw heaven and all these different things. But I know it's a book. I can't remember the name of the book. One guy who said he had a NDE, which is a near death experience. So he closed his eyes and he went to heaven and he saw Jesus Christ and he had beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes and all that good stuff. And then it was some years later he came out and said he made it all up. So we want to know the truth. The brother just joined us. Can you hear me, brother? All right, I'm finna get ready. I can't hear you. I'm finna bring you on. And when I get you on here, then I'll be able to hear you. But without further ado, here's how we said the strong deacon, Deacon Hakah from Sicarii, the strong deacon. Let's get him inside here. Shalom.
Yeah, mic check. Shalom.
I can hear you. Hey, if you can hear the deacon, hey, give me some thumbs ups. If you can hear him, hit the thumbs up button. All right. We just got the gorilla Hebrew in too. Let's get him inside.
All praises.
Shalom.
Mark.
Shalom. Is there a third person also?
Nah.
Okay. All right. What I'm gonna do while we going over the topic, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take myself off screen. I'm gonna put the screen mainly on YouTube, so it'll be more focused on you. But before I move any further, as I was just playing your song before you came on, and like I said, it's on the website, InsideTheNationRadio.com. If you click on the FWAP album, it's going to take you straight to the Deacon's website, and I'm gonna let him give you the information on how to get to his website, and let him say what he wants to say about himself, as I'm pretty sure no one needs an introduction of who these two guys are, two ox doing some powerful works in the name of the Most High, in the name of the Son. So I'm gonna go ahead and let them say what they got to say, and I'm gonna take the screen off myself, and then we're gonna get into the topic.
Cool. Yeah. First and foremost, I gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWASHI. That's all praise to the Most High in the name of the Son. We got the Son, the Deacon, as the brother mentioned. We're with the Sicarii. If you played the music, make sure you get the music. Make sure you subscribe first and foremost to the Sicarii YouTube channel, the Sicarii Public Enemies channel, the Sicarii Water channel. Follow me on Facebook, Deacon Hakah, Instagram, Deacon Sicarii, and for all music, DeaconSicarii.com. Children's Bibles, head Raspmetries, everything else support the nation. We got my beloved brother, Gorilla Hebrew. You want to say something? You get it?
Oh yeah, just all praise to YAHAWASHI. Happy to be here.
All praises. Well, yeah. So let me know. I got the questions. Let me know how you want to ask them. I got some information. We just had two powerful camps. Sicarii Dallas, they had a powerful camp today. Sicarii San Diego, we had a powerful camp. Long day on the job doing the Most High's work. But nevertheless, for my beloved brother, I wanted to come and bless and grace the show. So let's get into it. Let's delve into it.
All praises. Let me say real quick too. Maybe I think the first time I talked to the Deacon, probably been like a year ago. I don't even know if you remember, but I hit him up in the inbox and I asked him some questions, and he hit me with a doozy. First he was like, and you called me, and he was like, I'm gonna ask you a question. I said, go ahead. And he said, do you believe the Bible? I said, well, if it's written in there, I believe it. I might not know how to explain everything, but if it's in there, I for one believe it. So somehow we got on the topic of regeneration, and that sent me into a tailspin. Mind you, I wasn't taught that in Christianity. I was taught that was something crazy. So when he pointed some things out, I went to reading, and I just went to going. So I'm in a tailspin. So I went to reaching out more and more, and he kept dropping knowledge, and I kept reaching out, and like I was saying about the brother who was on before, his brother, and he's very humble. You know what I mean? We know like a lot of brothers that can get to a point where, you know, we ain't got time for the little guys, you know. But these brothers are very humble. You know what I'm saying? They're doing powerful works. I just want to go ahead and give all praise to the Most High for these brothers because actually last time I checked, I saw a message about these brothers, Jagged Edge. One of the guys from Jagged Edge, they brought the brother into the truth. Am I wrong by saying that, or am I off?
Well, the brother Brian Casey from Jagged Edge, he has been learning the knowledge. You know, the Most High been drawing him into this. So, you know, he's been affiliating with us, and so Lord willing, the brother just keep growing and pushing and coming in.
Okay. All praise. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic. The topic is life after death, right? Kind of a strong topic for our first broadcast, but we're gonna go ahead and dive in. And I'm not sure how you're gonna present it. I'm not sure if how much of the Apocrypha you're gonna use, but I'm gonna ask if we are gonna use the Apocrypha. Me personally, I believe in the Apocrypha. I read the Apocrypha. But there are some out there who don't, who believe, you know, they shouldn't. It's not the Most High's word because of different reasons they've been told not to deal with it. So if that's the case, if you're going to use it, can we start off by establishing that the Apocryphal Act is actually let's get rid of some of the lies. You know, like I always say, the best way to spread truth is to kill a lie. So
right. Okay.
Let's start off with that if that's
okay. Cool. So the way I got it set up is by the questions that you sent me. So first and foremost, the first question is the book of Ezra a true book? And if so, are the verses 71 and 140 legit? You're dealing with 2nd Ezra chapter 7. So a lot of your questions are based off of that. So I want to just deal with that first and foremost, because that's going to answer pretty much a lot of your other questions. So this is from the New World Encyclopedia. And when you go down to, this is dealing with 2nd Ezra, when you go down to the section of the lost verses, it reads this. Most Latin editions of the text have a large lacuna, meaning a section of missing text of about 70 verses between 36 and 37, due to the fact that they trace their common origin to one early manuscript, the Codex Sangermanensis, which was missing an entire page. In 1895, a critical edition was published restoring the lost verses. The restored verses are numbered 36 to 106, with the former verses 37 to 69 renumbered to 107 and 137. So the problem that certain people have with these texts is that, you know, they seem to be contradicting or saying something other than the rest of the scriptures. And the reason why is because some devil, all right, just being frank, firm, and forward, pretty much fabricated some text and then said that this was the lost verses of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. What proves this? In the Latin Vulgate, which is one of the oldest Bibles from the 3rd and 4th century, it does not contain these verses. The King James Apocrypha, I'll show you guys, does not contain these verses either. This is the King James Apocrypha. This is chapter 7. It stops at verse 70. Anybody can fact check this and look this up. Our oldest manuscripts dealing with the Septuagint and also the Codex Sinaiticus, you won't see these texts in there. So that kind of explains it. But yeah, none of the earlier manuscripts, none of the first compiled Bibles contain those verses. They were actually added in 1895 by some man saying that he found some lost verses. So that should answer a lot of the questions and a lot of the spookism dealing with those verses. Now, my beloved brother Ahlazar, he has a word called arguendo. He uses a word called arguendo. And that means that sometimes we can argue a case just because. And I remember he went into it. If he wants to, he can. But I think that's hardcore historical and archaeological evidence I just provided. But he's even argued those verses to show that it's not saying what people actually believe it's saying. If you want to speak on that, you can, Hakah.
Yeah, when you take a look at them 70 verses, a lot of people have utilized that to try to substantiate some sort of hell doctrine or some type of place of torment doctrine. But if you actually read the verses, you'll notice that what it's saying is how the people are being tormented is through basically seeing that they're not going to be saved when the time comes to be saved. And they're going to, get the judgment that comes. You know what I mean? So the torment is not a physical torment or any fiery thing like that. They're being tormented because their conscience is seeing the fact that they're going to get destroyed in that day and people are going to get saved. And the people who are going to get saved are comforted by seeing they want to get saved. So even when you look at it, if you do believe them verses do not substantiate a hell doctrine whatsoever.
Right.
Any questions on that?
So with that being said, if that's what people use to try and prove the point of this hell or torment and things of that nature, and if that's not what it's saying, where do we get this idea of, well, when you die, you're going straight to heaven, or when you die, you are going to a hell? Because we can pick up the King James, and we do see the word hell there, and we know Christ spoke about the Most High destroying somebody's body and soul in hell. So what was meant by that? Is it like a pagan belief or doctrine for us to believe that? How is that?
So you asked a question later on in the questions. Is it a pagan concept? So I want you to hold that question and present it just the way you did now, if you can. Okay. Okay. Your next question is, what is the Apocrypha inspired? So I want to ask you. I know you may not agree with anybody else, but I want to get you involved in the dialogue as well. What is inspired? What is inspired? What does that entail? What does that actually mean? What makes something inspired?
Well, when the influence of the Most High comes upon you to write the scriptures, giving you the know-how or the what to say in writing those documents. Okay, well,
what inspired really means is it a book of divinity? What makes it a book of divinity or divine is the prophecies in the book. This is how we make the Bible set apart or set aside from any other ancient text, is that it actually has ancient prophecies or things that are being said, something's going to happen, and it actually happens. That's what deems something to be quote unquote inspired. So we can look at many prophecies, and I'm gonna let my brother expound in a second. Many prophecies in the Apocrypha, all right, from the Roman Empire and you sent me a screenshot about a dating issue. Even with those dating issues, there are prophecies after that came to pass. So if that's what we're qualifying to be inspired, then absolutely yes, it's inspired. There's prophecies that align with the second coming, as they call it, of the Messiah. There's prophecies about kingdoms rising and falling. There's prophecies about Constantine. If you want to look up on Sicarii, the 12-feather breakdown, I'm talking about detailed prophecies in the Bible, in the Apocrypha, the so-called Apocrypha, because it was actually one text. It was in the Septuagint. It was in the Codex Sinaiticus, some of our earliest manuscripts. In the Bible that we all love the most, the King James, it was in the first King James. So that's what we would deem as quote-unquote inspired text, as if it has prophecies that are coming to pass and prophecies that are aligning with the rest of the scriptures. But you could expound on what you guys were going into, you and Shatar Hassad as well, if you want.
Bro, Ahlazar, before you start, do you mind moving your camera a little to your right? It's kind of cutting you off. That should be good. All right.
Yeah, but the brothers actually went into some deep prophecy concerning what was that, the whole Islamic rise,
Yeah, the rise of Islam in prophecy in the book of Second Ezra, verbatim in the book of Second Ezra. So if you go to Second Ezra 15, it speaks about the dragons of Arabia, and is given an very accurate account of historical events that occurred with that. Matter of fact.
Yeah, if you want to shoot out the link to the video, do you remember what?
Yeah, it's called "Is Islam in the Bible?" So if you look at that video up on Sicarii on the main page, it says, "Is Islam in the Bible?" And if you go into that, you'll be able to see, us kind of go into it, because, many Muslims have always tried to allude to the fact that Islam is in the Bible, is justified by the Bible. Of course, the scriptures they go to are not sufficient for that. But we actually found, through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, that Islam is in the Bible. Not that we should follow it as a religion, but the rise of it, the historical prophecy of the rise of it and how it came to be in the battles, the literal prophecy of the battle, exactly how history recorded it, is in the. It's all in the Bible. So we found that in Second Ezra. So Second Ezra is one of the main books where people, Tobit and Judith as well, but Second Ezra is one of the main books where people want to call into question in the Apocrypha. And quite frankly, with stuff like that in there, of course, Second Ezra 7, prophecy of YAHAWASHI, things like that. How can you deny this book when this book clearly has prophecies in it that were written a long time before they? Even if somebody says it was written in, the earliest you could find it, it's still literally centuries later these things happen. Not to mention, like the brother talked about, Constantine, as well as several other Roman emperors. So it's all in the Apocrypha. So to say the Apocrypha is not divinely inspired really is just you listening to Protestant white people who in the late 70s, the Roman Catholics don't even take it out. It's really just start with the Protestants and all the churches that come after them. You know what I mean? So you're just following a Protestant lie. And something they did to try to separate themselves from Rome or the Catholic Church. But in truth, all of this has been in our ancient records for centuries, and damn it, ain't no devil going to take it out.
And what's crazy as well, if I could add this, it's just the Western church, because this is the power struggle and the division between the Edomites. So you got the Eastern Church and the Western Church. And so the Eastern Orthodoxy, they still subscribe to the Apocrypha. So who the hell is the Western Church to try to say the Eastern Church is wrong? Or vice versa. So by you, like the brother said, by you having a problem with the Apocrypha, you're just pretty much following after the so-called white man.
Right.
He needs to be a so-called authoritative or not. If you had a question on this, you can bring it out. If not, then I'll address your next couple questions.
Are you finna go? You finna go to the list that with Tobit and the New Testament doesn't quote the Apocrypha? Is that what you're about to move to?
I was going to move to question 3, which was, does it conflict the rest of the scripture?
Okay. Yeah, I skipped that one. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No,
So question 3 is pretty easy. Does the Apocrypha or Second Ezra? The Second Ezra 7 conflict the rest of the scriptures? I would say no, because we already qualified and quantified that it was an 1895 edition, not some 2,000 to 2,500 year old ancient text that was written. That was a little over a century ago they were added. So I would say no, they don't conflict the rest of the scriptures.
It wouldn't have any bearing on the regeneration topic. So we wouldn't, at this point, we probably don't even need to go to that, since we've pretty much proven, like you say, as an addition. So
yeah, but I still just put a couple scriptures just to for the audience, just so they could kind of understand a little bit about regeneration. Not a full breakdown.
That works.
Yeah, your question 4, you said prove inspiration, and I as I mentioned with question 2, it's by prophecy. You said prove legitimacy, and we see the Apocrypha contained in the Greek Septuagint. Anybody can look this up. That's one of our oldest body of works. The Hebrew translated to the Greek in the 2nd and 3rd century BC. the Codex Sinaiticus, which is the oldest edition of the New Testament scriptures. The Apocrypha is found in those. That's 1st century AD here. And also we look at the first Bibles, the Latin Vulgate, in the King James 1611. The Apocrypha is there. Now, here's a point that I like the most. People have a problem with Tobit chapter 4, verse 12, and Tobit, what was the other one?
12 and 9.
12 and 9. So I did a video on the Shield Squad because anybody don't know what the Shield Squad is, those are vocab Malone's flunkies, which the Most High broke that whole pseudo-apologist group up. And that was one of their main gripes with the Apocrypha, was the fact that it says alms can deliver you from death. So when you read scriptures, because what they really have a problem with is other means of atonement. They say there's no other means of atonement except by Christ, or who the world ignorantly calls Christ, and the Messiah. But the Bible talks about that prior to the Messiah and also after the Messiah. Use the hemp oil, please. And so we look at Proverbs 10 and 12. It says, love covers a multitude of sins, right? That's another means of atonement outside of who the world calls the Messiah, because the logic of there's no other means of atonement even prior to Christ, and we got to Christians have to throw the whole Old Testament away, because
which they try and do.
Right. Which they try and do. You're absolutely right about that. 1 Peter 4:8, it deals with other means of atonement. Ecclesiastes 10 and 4, it says, yielding to the ruler, pacify of sins. Exodus 20 and 12, honoring your mother and father prolongs your days. James 5 and 20, and also 1 Timothy 6 and 18 and 19. This is New Testament, where it's the Most High giving us grace and mercy and blessings for giving alms. It's synonymous with Tobit 4, dealing with alms delivered from death. Ahlazar, if you wanted to speak on that, you got some.
Yeah, nah, man, you hit it on the head, man. A lot of them, they're not understanding what's going on, and they're not. A lot of people speak out of ignorance. A lot of times, it doesn't matter whether it's trying to throw out the Apocrypha or a Old Testament non-Messianic brother trying to throw with the New Testament. A lot of people don't even understand the text that they claim to hold to.
Right.
And therein lies the problem. I just got done listening to a debate. Somebody's debating about the New Testament, if Christ is a idol, etc. And they say things, and brother, you don't even understand the whole book. If you're hung up on certain things in the New Testament, I'm gonna make you throw the Old Testament away, because I can show you some of the same hang-ups in the Old. Right. But when people aren't understanding the full picture, they don't see the full picture. They stop understanding things, man. And therein lies the problem. That's why the Bible say, understand first, then rebuke. You need to search a matter out before you try to come against it. Know at least everything that goes with it before you start to question it and come against it.
True indeed.
And see I got these questions from a guy, and his stance was, just because a book may contain a few true things does not make that book true. Or just because it may contain a few false things does not make the whole book false. I tend to me it was nonsense. To me it's nonsense. But here's the thing, I got questions, because to me it's nonsense, but to some people they kind of grasp and take hold to that, and to them it becomes, it makes a lot of sense. So I'm just glad that you brothers going through this and breaking it down, because I know there's a few people on here right now that do have questions about the Apocrypha, and the Tobit was one that really got them caught up. As far as me, it didn't get me caught up, but at the same time, I did not know how to break that down and explain it. So all praises for you, brothers. I'm going to let you continue on.
Khan, another question you said was that the New Testament doesn't quote it. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Ahlazar brought this out. The first time I heard this brought out was with brother Ahlazar, and the Messiah celebrated the Feast of Dedication, which is only found in the book of Maccabees. And we see him doing that in John chapter 10 with the rest of our whole nation. So obviously they were dealing with, even if we want to say, oh, he wasn't celebrating it, he was just there. Well, all of Israel were celebrating it So they were dealing with the Apocrypha heavy. It was also mentioned that the New Testament doesn't quote any of the books of the Apocrypha. Now, rather than me proving that, I just went to, I got 10 books that the New Testament doesn't quote, so I want us to throw those out as well. This is Judges, Ruth, Ezra, Esther, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, Lamentations, Obadiah, Jonah, and Zephaniah. These are 10 books that, according to the scholars, there are 10 books that the New Testament doesn't quote. So maybe we should get rid of those too by that logic.
Oh, praise it. You said it too fast. I couldn't write them. If you could text me those, I'd love to have those books. And yeah, that was the one in John 10 about the Feast of Dedication. That was one of the examples he used. Just because it contains some things that are true doesn't make the whole book true. So he tried to go and, you know how you try and tackle something before somebody can use it? That's what he tried to do. And his feed was pretty long, so people were really eating it up. So that's what he used. But that is an excellent point about the books that it doesn't quote. Judges. I got Judges and Ruth, but my pen got slow after that.
Yeah, don't worry. Just matter of fact, when we get off, I'll send you the list, and I'm pretty sure there's more, but this was just 10 books. So by that logic, I don't think that's what we call idiotic logic. Okay. That's going to be my next single. But question 5, you said almost no early church fathers quoted the Apocrypha.
And hey, when I saw that, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember where it was because I tried to find it. But I think you did a video. You, Really Hebrew, one of you guys did a video about that. And I was trying to find it and I couldn't because I knew that was nonsense when he said it. But I just couldn't. I couldn't prove it. I didn't know how to go and prove it.
Right. Okay. Now here's the irony in that. Polycarp, who most historians say is a direct disciple of John, who walked with the Lord, right? Now, in chapter 10 on his letter to the Philippians, look what he says, and watch the irony in this about it. Watch the irony in this, my brother. This is chapter 10, exhortation to the practice of virtue. Watch what he says. He says, when you can do good, defer it not, because alms delivers from death. So not only is he quoting the Apocrypha, he's quoting the very scripture that everybody has a problem with. And this is Polycarp, John's disciple, right? And so he's quoting Tobit 4:10 and Tobit 12:9. Anybody can look this up. The letter to the Polycarp's letter to the Philippians, chapter 10, exhortation to the practice of virtue. Then we move on to Clement. The scholars and historians say he was a disciple of Peter. In his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 27, what does he quote? He quotes Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 12. That's the Apocrypha. And it reads, I'm in chapter 27. It's called In the Hope of the Resurrection, which we had to cut these guys talking about Christ came back in 70 AD. Well, according to their direct disciples, they're talking about a hope of a resurrection here, but that's another story. So when you go about halfway down, he says, who shall say unto him, what have you done? Or who shall resist the power of his strength? This is him quoting directly from Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 12. And so I just wanted the audience and also you as well, so you could be equipped if you run into these problems again. Any thing you want to add?
No, you got it.
Okay. The life after death. I think what I did was I just wanted to read Ecclesiastes 3:21, Ecclesiastes 12:7, Psalm 17:15, Job 3:17. It's all dealing with us going back to the spirit world when we die, and that's where the righteous or wicked, as Job chapter 3:17 says, there, meaning the spirit world, even the wicked cease from troubling. So You know, Ecclesiastes 1:9 is that tells us the judgment is played out on earth. So we go to the spirit world.
Ecclesiastes 3:16.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 3:16. Under the sun is the place of judgment.
Under the sun.
Right. So that's when we go to the spirit world, and then we come back to serve our judgment, whether it's a messed up life, early death, disease, mass oppression, or whatever. That's us getting that judgment for the past life. And you ask, how does that contradict or conflict with Hebrews 9:27, where it says it is appointed for man to die one time? Well, I would ask somebody, has people been risen from the dead? So that means they died more than one time.
Wait, run that back out.
So when it says it is appointed for man to die once, then I will pose the question, have people been risen from death? And what would you say?
Outside of Christ, Lazarus?
Even in the old...
Yeah, Elijah raised people from the dead.
Right, correct.
So we see that it's very problematic for Christians and Hebrew Israelites. I've seen a lot of Hebrew Israelites use Hebrews 9:27. It's very problematic to eisegete a scripture and then create that doctrine around it when you can get hit with 30 other precepts dealing with regeneration. Okay, somebody might say, well, it's talking about when they're in the grave. Well, that would be you reading it into the text. Even then, we've seen the graves were open, right? Our elder did a video on that.
That's right.
Even then, the graves were open, and they got out and walked, and they didn't go up with the Messiah. He just raised them from the dead to show his power. Then guess what they did? They died again. So they died more than once. So this is a case of pleonasm, and that is just over exaggerated and putting the emphasis on certain things from the writer or author's perspective. I see you going for a scripture. If you got something, you can bring it out.
Con, 2nd Ezra 14:35. For after death shall the judgment come. So you die, then you get a judgment. When we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly be declared. So we shall live again. We live out our judgment, right? Well, where do we live our judgment out? Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So under the sun, meaning here on earth, is where you live out your judgment. 2nd Ezra says you live again. That's when you get your judgment. So you get judged for what you did in your previous lifetime and your next lifetime.
Okay. I might be jumping the gun here. Just let me know if I am. I saw you guys doing the teaching one time. I think is it Romans 11 where it says all Israel shall be saved.
Mm-hmm.
So is this how all Israel is going to be saved, coming back through the regeneration? And if that's the case, and Isaiah, and I may be deviating a little bit, over in Isaiah 66, I believe it is, when it say from new moon to new moon, and we're going to look upon those who. So who are those people if all Israel is going to be saved and we're coming back through regeneration?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll ask you a question first, and then I'll deal with if we was arguing with somebody else. Do you believe that only Israel can be saved, or do you believe? I mean, I ain't going to turn this into a debate, my brother. I'm not sure what you believe, but do you believe that heathens, actual non-Israelites, can be saved? Do you believe that the Lord died for heathens?
I believe salvation is for Israel.
Okay, so that means the Lord only died for the sins of Israel, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so only Israel can be perfect. So that means, are the heathens going to be perfect?
No.
So that means they're going to be continue to sin. They're going to continue to sin in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, so you're getting to those, when we come from new moon to new moon, looking upon those are going to be the heathens and not Israel.
Those are going to be the heathens because their sins aren't covered and they're not going to be perfect. That new covenant is for the house of Israel and the house of Judah.
Correct.
The Bible clearly says that. What is the new covenant? Perfection. The laws being in our genetic makeup. us not going off, us being programmed and downloaded. Now, the heathens aren't just going to be throwing gay parade parties and pig parties, but they're not going to be perfect. So when they do go off, they're going to get chastised, and some of it is going to be capital punishment. So you can understand that.
Okay. All praise. Yeah. No, that clears it up, because that was a question that I actually, that was my question. I came up with that because I was thinking it, and I'm like, well, I do believe salvation is for Israel. I do believe, when Yahawashi was crucified, it was for Israel and Israel only. But then that question kind of crept in. Well, who are these people? Would Israel be a part of that? Did that refer to Israel? But makes sense. I got it. Makes sense.
Because it says there will be no more sin, but that's just only dealing with the Israelites. We're gonna have those law, statutes, and commandments written in our hearts. The heathens are still gonna be going off. The scriptures in Isaiah 65 says there's still gonna be sinners in the kingdom of heaven, and they can't be Israelites because we'll be perfect. We're aware of that number. Right. But yeah, that's pretty much it on that question. Unless you wanted to add to it, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I was just going to say, and that makes sense, because one thing that never stood out to me, before I even came into the truth, I stopped. It's been years since I, really stopped going to church, probably 10 years maybe. It's been a while, because the doctrine just was not making sense to me. Like when I hear when we all die, we all go to heaven, we all got mansions, kingdom, and riches. If we are rich, then what is really rich? Like I can't be really rich if you're not poor. I mean, that may sound wrong, but if everybody got $1 million, what is it really worth? That's what I'm looking at. Or if we're all kings, then who are the peasants? Or if we're all priests, then who you're preaching to? That was always my question. Like, it didn't make sense. And let's not get into the rest of the nonsense, the 3 day from Friday to Sunday. So this was always my questions, but that makes sense what you just said. That points it out. About the crucifixion, though, I just want to throw that in real quick. We can move to the next question.
Now, you mentioned something earlier. I might as well bring it out right now. Mm-hmm. You said, is it a pagan concept? And dealing with the how our people were Hellenized, we did use some of those like how we do it today. We'll equate something or make something equivocal to a story or a movie. It's the same thing. Even our beloved brother Paul, he used to talk to the people in plays. Like he was quoting Greek. Who was he quoting? He quoted a lot of Greek philosophers or Greek poets, in which we still do today. So when you look at this word for hell, one of the words for hell, Hades. When you look at the Lytle and Scott or the Bowers edition lexicon, which is what the scholars deem the most prominent lexicon for the New Testament, it calls this place Hades, and it says Hades or Pluto, the god of the lower region, Orcus, the netherworld, the realm of the dead. So we see that this is carrying a Greek mythological definition and connotation. This isn't anything Hebraic, rather something we likened it to, liken something to, and also too, we know that when some of the heathens got a hold of this, especially dealing with Christianity, they wanted to incorporate a lot of pagan customs into the truth, as you see Easter, Christmas, so on and so forth. So I would say it's absolutely a pagan concept, and the definition of the very word proves that. Anything you wanted to add to?
Right. No, I'm just saying.
He's over there sitting. Ahlazar's over there sitting on that Bowers. I wish he can get the definition of Hades in the Bowers, but anybody can look it up. If you got the lexicon, even the Thayer's lexicon, it mentions all these Greek mythological. You're not telling me our Lord was going around teaching Greek mythology. That just don't make no damn sense.
Right. So we got people that's watching right now that can think within themselves like, okay, well, my loved one, my son, my daughter has not gone to this place in the ground. They're burning and being stabbed by pitchforks. That's
well. Have you ever tried to burn air?
Burn hair?
Burn air.
Air. No.
So how can one burn a spirit?
Good question.
So it's spiritual fire. It's spiritual fire burning a spiritual body, or is it literal fire burning a spiritual body? I mean, it's just
it don't make sense.
Bugged out, creepy. It's what we call spookism.
Right. And you're right. It don't make sense. Like I said, like there was a question presented about what happens to those didn't know they were Israel, and I know my family, we talked about this. What happened to those that did not know they were Israel? And it's like unrealistic to say, well, we don't care about moms or dad or sister, brother who left here not knowing there was Israel, and are they in this spiritual place of being burned? So I'm sure it's a great appreciation to get the understanding of, hey man, that's all paganism, or that's all untruth that's coming out that we've just been taught like everything else was untrue.
Mm-hmm. Right, true indeed. Now, they do get judgment. It's just not that, Right. It's like the brother said, the place of judgment is you coming back and you serving what you did, serving out your sentence for what you did in your past life. Now, there is going to be what they call a judgment day, or the day of judgment, or the Lord's day, where, the ultimate judgment is going to be that lake of fire, which we believe is the thermonuclear destruction of Babylon, which is America, which is a whole nother topic. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of precepts to prove that. That could be for another show. But your next question was, I wanted to address just two more things before I wrap things up here. It said praying for the dead, how the Maccabees prayed for the dead. You answer that. You answer that with your own precept about the Corinthians baptizing themselves for the dead. So that will cancel it out. And just because we see things in the scriptures, I mean, we worship the calf and call it Yahawah. Just because we're seeing things in the scriptures where it's off, it doesn't mean we throw that part away in the Bible. It's just something that not a sin, so to speak, but just something that they didn't have understanding on, or they were doing for vain, or probably because they were following after the Greeks at the time of the Maccabees, and that followed up with the Corinthians, which is in Greece. So it makes sense that Hellenized Jews would probably practice those practices, being that they forced us to stop practicing our own Hebraic customs.
Okay, that makes sense. What would you say to the point? Did we cover this? The guy brought up, he said, Apocrypha does not claim to be inspired, so therefore it cannot be inspired, even if it contains a prophecy.
Yeah, I don't understand what he meant by that. If you could explain it, then we can expound on it.
That didn't make sense to me, though.
That's all Christian terminology. He's using Christian rhetoric. It doesn't claim it's, well, what book do claim it's? What book say I'm inspired by God? That's crazy.
Yeah. Give me that verbatim. Give me that phraseology verbatim.
Well, what he said, that's exactly what he said.
No, I'm asking whoever said that to show me the phraseology verbatim. What we have to understand is this. This is a book of a lot of history. And it's also Wisdom of Solomon and Ecclesiastes, which is wise words. Really, the most prophecies in here is from Second Ezra. So, not sure what he meant by claiming to be inspired. If he wants to deal directly with us, he can come on Free Smoke Fridays or Situation Room. You know what I mean? Wednesday nights, and we can deal like that with a peaceful dialogue, so we can really get into it and hear his answers.
I dealt with the brother before, and I can tell you right now, it ain't gonna be no peaceful dialogue. It's one of the more ignorant brothers I ever talked to. So, but I definitely would like to see that. I would definitely like to be a part of setting that up, because I definitely get in contact with him. He swear he has the answers to crush the Apocrypha, to crush that we're supposed to keep the law, and all these other type of nonsense claims that he makes. But I would definitely like to set that up.
Okay, well, maybe you can send him this video, and he could address these. Now, you mentioned 1 John 5:16. I don't know if you thought, or he thought, this meant praying for the dead, but it's just saying don't pray for somebody who commits a sin worthy to death. It says, if you see any man commit a sin unto death, pray not for him. So I don't know if he's reading a different version or what, but it doesn't have anything to do with praying for the dead.
I think it was going against Second Maccabees, where it talks about praying and death, and then he goes to 1 John 5:16 that says don't pray for so he was trying to use the two to cancel one out.
Oh, okay.
Mainly Maccabees. Okay. To show that the Apocrypha is full of contradictions. We shouldn't be using it. It's not inspired according to him. So that's what he was trying to do, is pretty much cancel out the Apocrypha. Okay.
Well, we can do that all throughout the Bible. That'll be very problematic to do that. You got something called the Carbon Rule. The Carbon Rule was the tradition that it's a sin if you don't wash your hands, which we've seen our Lord rebuke that doctrine or that custom from the Pharisees. So just because we see us doing it, whether it's in the Apocrypha or in what we call the Bible, we see our people doing wickedness or going off. It doesn't mean we throw that part of the compilation or composition away. It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Just because we do it, that don't mean we're supposed to be doing it. They worship, like you said earlier, they worship the calf. So wasn't supposed to.
Now, the last thing I had was dating issues. You have to do relative dating, dealing with multiple sources to really get into the actual or more accurate dates of all of our writings, because conventional chronology can get a little tricky, as a lot of sources have the book of Daniel being written in the 2nd century BC, when he's writing about events and encounters that happened 400 years prior to. So not sure what source he's getting his dates from, but he'd have to show multiple sources on that. And the date that it was found doesn't necessarily reflect the date that it was written. So you got to factor that in as well. So that's all I had. I know it's late where you're at. It's late where I'm at. I'd rather not take calls right now, but if you got any more questions, I'll deal with those real quick, and then I'm going to sign out, man. It was a pleasure.
No, I just appreciate you coming on. I told you we'll keep it short and answering the questions. I'm sure everybody like myself got some edification with a lot of things with you and the guests we had earlier, our brother Yaw'al. But no, that last one you just brought out, the dating issues with Daniel, that's a good point too, because to say there's dating issues in Maccabees, well, you can use that for books that we consider in the King James Bible. So that like Ahlazar's favorite word, I hear him say, that's problematic. That'd be problematic for them. So
yeah, it's problematic when we start doing that. We got to understand, with every ancient text, there's certain transliteration problems, variances, historical problems. We're dealing with fragmented ancient texts that we had to copy and do editorial work on. This is what every ancient text, any scholar will tell you this as well. So we can't harp or isolate certain issues like that, because those are common. Rather, we deal with the whole body of work in itself. Right. Hey, I got a question though. Is there a way we could share this when it's done? When you're gonna upload it on YouTube, or how you gonna do it?
Right. It's actually on the Facebook, facebook.com/Inside the Nation Radio. Can share it from there. It's gonna be on YouTube. I'm gonna have it on Podcast Radio. Once I get a few more episodes in, it's gonna be on the iHeart and also on Spotify.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know. Send me the link, and I'll share them on all the platforms as well.
Okay, we'll do. Really quick before you go, can you let the people know where they can get the FWAP album? I've been playing it for them. I've been getting like the little fire comments, so they loving it. So just let them know where they can buy it from. I already let them know they can go to my website, click on your picture of the album, and it takes them to your website.
Con, we're on what's the name of your website?
InsideTheNationRadio.com.
InsideTheNationRadio.com. DeaconSakari.com. Get the Fop Lord album. Get the Slave Ships to Spaceships. Get the 613 album. Get the Guess Who album. Get the 1715 album. And then we got a special album coming out this Friday, Lord willing, called The Lazarus Layer. And when I say it's a piece of work, we've been hitting them back to back like Drake. This is a marvelous piece of work. This is the song my beloved brothers from Jagged Edge have done a feature on this particular project. And we need everybody to be looking out for that. It's going to be monumental. Make sure you get your copy.
I've actually caught a couple pieces of the Lazarus Layer that, man, it's fire. It's fire. So, I'm definitely
we're trying to outdo the previous one.
Yeah, I believe it, because as you go, you know what I'm saying, you're just growing and growing again. So You know, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. 400 Years a Slave is probably gonna be my all-time favorite.
That's my favorite too. That's my favorite.
Okay, I'm in Georgia. Like I told people before, I ride from Georgia to Florida just playing that on repeat. Now, I like all those songs. Don't get me wrong, but it's something about that one, man. It just takes me there. But before we get off too, bro, my Ahlazar, you want to say something real quick, man?
Man, again, yeah, just all praise YAHAWASHI. I want to plug. We got
he might have stepped away. It's okay. You can exit him out.
Yo, you can't hear me?
I can hear him.
Deacon, you can't hear me? I'm right here.
Okay, I hear you.
But yeah, we got the 12th Masharah Yasharah.
Any closing statements, my brother?
The 12th Masharah Yasharah, the Hebrew Summit, coming up this January, the 24th to the 27th in Atlanta, Georgia. So, we all in Israel, y'all are invited, man. Come out. We'd love to see y'all. It's 4 days of events. It's the 12th one that we've been able to do through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. We hosted it in conjunction with HOI and with the brothers from Yahawah's camp out of North Carolina. So we'd love to see Israel there, man. Y'all come out. Everybody's welcome.
I like the setup though. It's got good comments and everything.
Yeah, it's a pretty good setup. Like I say, they can hear the music. I could bring the comments on, and so if they want to highlight them and you want to see what the people saying. But with that event going on also in Atlanta, I'm 20 minutes west of Atlanta. I'm out in Douglasville. So I even helped get the word out there. So I definitely want to be a part of that also.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Hebrew Summit in Atlanta. Look at the Facebook page, the website. All Hebrew Israelites invited. Bring your crackhead cousins, bring your gangbang homies, and let's change their lives and bring them around.
That's right.
Exactly. They need to be there.
Man, all right. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to say the water, my brother, for bringing me on. YAHAWASHI, a thumb to you. And again, I'm going to sign out by saying all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh BAHASHAM, Mashiach Yahushua.
All praises. And throw out to you and the Gorilla Hebrew for coming on and blessing the program, man. Hey, looking forward to doing it again.
Con, just let me know, fam.
All right, Shalom.
All right, Shalom.
All right. All praises to the Most High for the brothers coming on, edifying really quick. They're actually out in California, so right now it's 12:48 here. So what is it over there, like 2 o'clock? They're 3 hours behind. So it's going on 3 o'clock in the morning for them. So the brothers took the time out to even get on here and just talk with us real quick, even though it's being late. They've been in camp and been out in the streets, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing all day, bringing forward the word of Most High. They still was humble enough to come out, you know what I'm saying, and just help edify the people, man. So listen, I'm going to play some music before we get out of here. Look, y'all go support these artists, man. These artists, we just met the Deacon, man. A lot of y'all already know him, man. He's fire. So I'm finna play that. I'm gonna replay it because I love these two songs. I told him that the 400 Years a Slave was my favorite, which it is. But I think the more I play this, I pray. I don't know. It might start to battle a little bit. But I'm gonna play these as we go out. Go to my website, InsideTheNationRadio.com. Click on the FWAP album. It takes you straight to Deacon Hakah's website. And then what it does, you can get the album from there. Also, the other brother, Bandman Tanner, who I'm going to play, you'll see his banner. He's actually a brother out of IUIC. You click on his banner. His is free download. Like all of the artists in the truth, man, it's like they're arranging their albums from free downloads to just a few dollars. So, hey, listen, support. It's for a good cause. They're kicking truth in your ear, telling you way more that you're going to hear on these radios, because we know ain't no talent really on the radios. So, hey, y'all support. With that being said, I'm going to say Shalom, and I'm going to take us out with a couple tracks.
In my hood, you hear sirens.
This is Deacon Hakah. Go to the website and support.
No love for any cops. That's what got Kenny shot. Y'all drinking Henny shots. I'm investing in penny stocks. They give me props. rapping, teaching, debating, unity, while Satan trying to weaken the nation, capture my community, kill us with every opportunity. No justice or peace, the police get immunity. Look, rubber bullets and riot tools when they gear up, asking where the love went, cause judgment is near us. And kids rather pour up a boat and sip the syrup than learn about how the black Moors ruled in Europe. We divided by economic material skills. My people are serial victims of imperialism. I tell the truth in the booth, boy, my pen no lie. They love the Hebrew Israelites. Ask the N-O-I. Let's pray. I pray. Abba, Yahawah, I pray. For your grace and everything that you shall provide, I pray. Every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and fumble from out of hide, I pray. Every day, no excuses or alibis, I pray. That every last one of these cowards die, I pray. All of this in the name of YAHAWASHI. Can't be the blessed, don't need the stress, so I fast and I rest instead. Cold sweats in the bath, trying to grasp. I sat in bed. In my dream, I had a twin. He stabbed me to death and fled. Visions of a pale horse and a dragon with 7 heads. Vagabond Babylon being watched by the Lord. Can't even stop by the store, cause on my block it's a war. Jehovah Witnesses don't even knock at my door, cause they know they fall doctrine will get chopped by my sword. Yeah, I'm with the lyrical or the spiritual murder play. I see some ravenous wolves leading a herd astray. My homie's mom's a tweaker, I watch him survey. I'm numb to this game and the pain. I'm an invertebrate. Messiah come serve, we gon' witness the sun purge. He coming back to judge every idle and dumb word. My team always moving in silence, we unheard. The elite wanna convert on the elect and the 1/3. I pray, Abba, Yahawah, I pray. For your grace and everything that you shall provide, I pray. Every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and fumble from out of hide, I pray. Every day, no excuses or alibis, I pray. And every last one of these cowards.
Hey, man, y'all go support, man. Show some support. Get the album. You won't regret it. Trust me. I got it. You won't regret it. It's fire.
In the assembly of the righteous, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their bed. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints, and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nation and punishment on those people. Divide their kings with chains. If only I could spread my wings and fly away, I'd escape this place right away and be gone, vanished without a trace. That's why I stay. It ain't safe for kids to go out and play. No matter if it's night or day, you can be hit by a stray. So every morning when I awake, I pray for a brighter day. Don't know how much more darkness my eyes could take. Criminals populate the city, crime is at its highest rate. Growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of hate. Through the tribulations, I acknowledge that Yahweh's great. Can't wait till he sent his son to deliver us about this place. Babylon the Great, better known as the United States, the place that was built off of oppression and a tighter race. But when them tribes awake, we about this place. Every nation under the sun gonna be more shook than a violent quake. Let's get it right, Jake, so we can take our rightful place. 12 gates reserved for us, our paradise awaits.
One more track before we get out of here. I know I don't play these two like a few times, but just for those who ain't catching, I'm gonna play one more for you. Then we out of here. Hey, shalom to all y'all. Be blessed.
Judah, LOG, yeah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm a Shemite, baby. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It always be knocking, so you know we got pride.
Shalom up. Blessings.
You follow one walk like a zombie. The scriptures I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire you gon' burn like you zombies. Religion melts your brain, son. That you ain't lying to find. You act like a zombie. You follow one walk like a zombie. The scriptures I'm burning you zombies. Repentance for only the Israelites. I hope you don't die like a zombie. The fire you gon' burn like you zombies. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful comments. They slipping like Martin Osana. Jungle in the earth, no Wisconsin. Shooter don't mess with no zombies. Look at them beautiful garments. They slipping like Martin Osana. Jungle in the earth, no Wisconsin. Oh, my motherland, Yasharala. Oh, they slipping, better dry the towel up. I'm the type of Jew, hate my enemies. Mama used to call me king, baby. Return to the law, be a king, hasted. I'm an Israelite son of the ancient, but I woke up like this. Don't need trip. We did not wish on the women, no way. Facing the east and we pray through the day. Talking about Sunday to Sabbath, no way. Granny be speaking in tongues, ain't no way. Crying and moving and shaking like that. Pastor come first and he said round the tray.
Hey, y'all, please share the broadcast, like the broadcast, tag your friends and family in the broadcast. All praise to the Most High.
All of the angels are black on the way. Adam and Eve, they were made from the dust. Different shades of black and brown, that's us. I am an Israelite from Challenge. No, we don't wish on a stupid little just like I like it, we jump on